What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 2TG. Chapter 26 Ace, Vice Captain. I guessed it right. Luffy squatted on a stone, holding his straw hat in one hand, laughing. Only he guessed the result correctly. The battle for the captain's position has come to an end. Ace thought about it for a month, but in the end he was brutally beaten by Luo En. He swore in his heart that he would practice harder and surpass Luo En. But when he thought of Luo En's pervert ability, his confidence was hit. Luo En completely changed his image in everyone's mind. Before, he had an image of just fishing and messing around. After showing his strength in this battle, his image suddenly became majestic. He had the look of a captain and convinced everyone. Luo En walked up to Sanji, took a cigarette, patted his shoulder and said, "Still smoking? Are you dying of smoking like this? We are going back to the ship to make breakfast. We can go to Logue Town today to buy more supplies. We are about to prepare to enter the Grand Line." "Hi, who I got it." Sanji took a deep breath, spit it out heavily, nodded in response, and then stood up and walked towards the pirate ship. Logue Town. Isn't that the place where Roger, the pirate king, was executed? Ace. As soon as Luffy heard about Logue Town, his eyes lit up and he shouted directly to Ace. As a result, just in the middle of shouting, Luffy was knocked down by a flying figure. One hand covered Luffy's mouth hard, and the other hand knocked Luffy's chest. Ace manually taught his brother a lesson, and while beating him, he muttered, "Shut up. Pay attention to what you are saying. I can't beat Luo En, but I can't beat you." Logue Town is definitely a turning point in the fate of many people. Luo En looked at the two brothers fighting, then looked up at the horizon with fish belly, and narrowed his eyes slightly. Logue Town. Grand Line. Finally entering the Grand Line. 4 more S-class crew members are needed. Chopper's route should be before Alabasta, Robin, and Frankie on the Seven Waters. We have to wait until Brook to gather the candidates, but at that time the Grand Line is almost over and is about to enter New World. Time is a bit tight. Frankie must be recruited. I am planning to build an unprecedented giant ship. It can do anything in the sky or the sea. When the time comes, you can come and go freely. Even New World travel will not have any pressure. If he can let Pluton, it will be better if it is built. Luo En is thinking about the next plan. For his own pirate ship, Luo En has an unprecedented idea. And now his goal is to recruit 10 S-class crew members and activate the reward function. As for improving their combat power, they all rely on everyone to practice in the Universal Training Warehouse. After entering the New World, as long as he can visit 2 big pirates, such as Whitebeard, and give him 3 free uses of the Universal Training Chamber, Luo En will take off directly, so for now, he is still struggling to develop. It was just being chased by the Marine Vice Admiral that gave him a wake-up call. If he disappears, the limelight will soon pass. But with Ace, Luffy and the others, how could they not attract Marine's attention? Therefore, all Luo En has to do is to survive. Never reveal a trace of your strength. Suddenly, Luo En thought of something, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Alabasta not only has Robin. There is also Crocodile. That guy is the Summit War MVP. A partner of Hawkeye. One of the creators of the Cross Guild. There is no way he is not S level. Moreover, I now have Luffy as my trump card, and I have a great chance of defeating Lao Sha. As long as I lobby him to join the Spade Pirates, my strength will definitely increase greatly. Luo En suddenly thought of a key figure, Crocodile, and began to plan to recruit Crocodile to the pirate group. After everyone cleaned up, they returned to the pirate ship. At the breakfast table, everyone gathered together. Everyone was very curious about Luo En's abilities and asked questions to such an extent that Luo En could hardly continue to write. In the end, he had to forcefully change the topic. Our Spade Pirates have begun to take shape, and I have to make arrangements next. Luo En wiped his mouth and said seriously. Hearing these words, Ace seemed to have been hit hard and took a hard bite of the food in his mouth. Ace, appointed vice captain. Ace's eyes widened, showing he didn't understand. Everyone else turned to look at Luo En. Everyone knows my identity. The former pirate group provoked the celestial dragons, and I am being heavily wanted, so I must not show my strength. In Marine's eyes, I am still a handyman pirate. Even so, Marine the vice admiral of our headquarters is dispatched to hunt me down. If they know that I have the strength, I am afraid that Admiral will also dispatch. With the current strength of our pirate group, facing Admiral, we will only end up being destroyed by the group. From now on, in front of outsiders, Ace will be the leader, everyone understands. After Luo En finished speaking, Ace looked hopeless. After doing this for a long time, you pushed me out to resist the injury. Ace was speechless. He thought he was recognizing his strength, but it turned out that it was just to avoid exposing himself. This captain is such a bitch. For everyone's sake, there is a Universal Training Warehouse. As long as we give you time, I believe it will not be a problem for you to become the Pirate King and the #1 swordsman. Luo En encouraged with a smile. Chapter 27 Logue Town encounters Garp. I think what Luo En said makes sense. I totally approve of Ace's vice captain. Usopp was the first to express his support. Be good, he doesn't want to face the Marine Admiral's personal arrest. Now it seems that this is the best solution. Zoro put down the tableware and agreed. Then he got up and walked out. I'm full and going to train. When Ace heard the word, Training, he felt as if he had been given a shot of blood. He finished the meal in a hurry and rushed out. I'm going to train too. Don't forget your position and mission. My dear Deputy Captain, Luo En reminded him. Got it, came Ace's annoyed voice. The sun rises high and a new day begins again. Not long after the Spade Pirates set off, they arrived at Logue Town. The 10 coolie pirates recruited at the beginning are still working as coolies on the captain, leaving 8 people to watch the ship, and 2 pirates went to purchase ingredients with Sanji. Luffy and Nami were also planning to go to Logue Town. Ace was very resistant at first, but he couldn't bear Luffy's force and got off the boat. Luo En took Zoro to buy a knife. The plan is very reasonable. But no one knows that there is a scary old guy waiting for them in Logue Town. Logue Town is a very important line of defense. The marine here is the busiest. The pirates arrested are all pirates who want to enter the New World. Today, by chance, Marine Colonel Smoker went out to arrest pirates and was not in Logue Town. Smoker was so relieved to leave, mainly because of the arrival of Garp. With the hero Garp here, Logue Town will be extremely safe. Everyone split up in Logue Town. Luo En took Zoro to find the destined weapons store, and defeated the 3rd generation Kidetsu in a powerful way, and got Yukazog. Not long after Luo En and Zoro left the weapon shop, the entire Logue Town was in chaos. Quick, pirates appear in the square. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. On the street, groups of Marines collided arrogantly and gathered in the square. Luo En had a bad feeling when he saw this scene. What's going on? Isn't it Luffy and the others who are causing trouble? Zoro murmured softly, holding 3 knives. Luo En slapped his head helplessly and swore, if it has nothing to do with Luffy, I won't be the captain. After saying that, he immediately dragged Zoro and rushed towards the square. However, Luo En regretted it as soon as he arrived at the square. The moment the 2 figures saw him, they rushed towards him. Luo En, run! Ace yelled anxiously. Ouch! It hurts! It hurts so much! Luo En, help us quickly! It hurts! It hurts! Grandpa, stop fighting! Luffy ran away with his head in his arms, and a big bulge was visible on his head. The person chasing Ace and Luffy was a burly old man with short hair and a beard, wearing a marine cloak of justice. Luffy's grandfather. Zoro was shocked to see Luffy's miserable appearance. F*K run. Luo En was heartbroken. I roared in my heart. Don't come over. That's the hero Garp. Who knows why Garp appears here? Luo En was a little confused. However, when Garp saw him, he was like a wolf seeing a little sheep, and laughed loudly. So you are Luo En. You are the one who kidnapped my grandson to become a pirate. I will not let you go. Garp directly passed Ace and Luffy and hit Luo En with an iron fist. Damn F*K. Luo En was ferocious in his heart, calling him F*Ku. He used his speed to the maximum to avoid a punch. Boom. The entire square collapsed into a huge crater. That was the result of Garp's punch. Luo En stood at the edge of the pit, swallowing his saliva, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. If that punch had fallen on him just now, he would have been crippled even if he wasn't crippled. Luo En was completely confused. Why does Garp appear here? Ace and Luffy braked suddenly and stopped on the edge of the crater. Their eyes widened and their mouths opened wide with shock on their faces. As the old man serious, Ace looked confused. He thought that meeting Garp was a coincidence, but now it seems that it wasn't. Ah, it's so scary. Luffy grinned, afraid that the fist would fall on him. Escaped. Garp's figure fell to the side and asked in surprise. Then he rolled up his sleeves and laughed even more heartily. Ha 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 ha, you look much better than those 2 brats like Ace. I happen to have itchy hands, so don't go without a spanking. After the words fell, Garp slowly walked towards Luo En. After dodging just now, Luo En has rushed to Ace and Luffy's side. Looking at Garp walking step by step, the 3 of them looked confused at the same time. What the hell? Why did your grandfather show up here? Luo En roared excitedly. It seems like it's because of Luffy, he's here to find Luffy. Ace swallowed, thinking about how to get a lighter beating next time. What should we do this time? Grandpa is too scary, Luffy said in a broken voice. Garp was a complete shadow in his mind. Luo En had a sullen face, thinking about a solution. Ace and Luffy decided to give him a lesson and be done with it, but that wasn't necessarily the case for him, getting caught. Being executed. It's hard to say. Therefore, the top priority is how to save yourself. Chapter 28 Garp is shocked. Earth-shattering conquerors. Looking around, hundreds of Marines have already flocked here, and there are also many residents who are bold and not afraid of death to watch the excitement. The situation is very difficult. In the crowd, Sanji, Nami and others also appeared, approaching. Oh shit. Desperate situation. Usopp. Show lousy quickly. Luo En prayed in his heart. However, to no avail. Usopp has not awakened the God attribute yet, let alone facing Garp. Even if God comes, I'm afraid he will have to get punched twice. In a critical situation, Luo En is ready to convince people with reason. Wu is absolutely incomparable to martial arts. Have a sharp tongue and find a way out for yourself. But before that, those in the way need to be cleaned up. Ace, Luffy, Conquerors. Luo En yelled. Ace and Luffy were startled, then without hesitation mobilized all their energy and released suddenly. Buzz. Conquerors. Freed. The energy that surged out like a tidal wave swept away wantonly in an instant. All the marine soldiers and residents who were involved rolled their eyes and fainted. Conquerors. Garp's eyes widened and he was stunned for a moment. What did these two boys do? How did he awaken Conqueror's haki so quickly and even achieve controlled release? Garp had doubts in his heart, but he kept moving and grinned. I'll show you the real Conqueror's haki. As soon as he finished speaking, Garp released a terrifying aura like a wild beast, which spread instantly. Boom. 3 strands of Conqueror's haki collide. Tisk tisk tisk. Countless dark red lightning visible to the naked eye circulated around, sweeping towards the surroundings with more rapid power. Everyone in the square fainted in an instant. Only the Spade Pirates were still standing. Oh, there is another person, Garp's deputy, Bogart, wearing a gray trench coat, standing not far away, with shock written on his face. As expected of the grandson of Vice Admiral Garp, he has the qualifications to be a king. He murmured quietly. The release of Garp's Conqueror's haki was like a giant facing a common man, directly crushing and suppressing Ace and Luffy's Conqueror's haki. Ace and Luffy looked heavy and stressed. Suddenly, an extra hand appeared on their shoulders, and a figure crossed them and took a step forward. Luo En takes action. Now that there is no one around, he can release it without restraint. Garp and Bogart don't count. Luo En's pupils suddenly contracted, and Conqueror's haki was released. Boom. Add a blast of Conqueror's haki to make the collision even more violent and stormy. The whole execution platform was shaking crazily, and I really wanted to fall down and take a rest. Conqueror's haki's kid. Garp was startled. He didn't expect that Luo En would also awaken Conqueror's haki. That guy has also awakened Conqueror's haki. Didn't the intelligence say that he was just a handyman pirate? Bogart narrowed his eyes and looked slightly shocked. The pressure on Ace and Luffy dropped dramatically. However, even if the 3 of them work together, they are still not strong enough to compete with Garp. After a moment of stalemate, their Conqueror's haki was squeezed in front of them and shattered. 3 figures were forced to sit on the ground, including Luo En. Ace and Luffy's current Conqueror's haki is not very strong. Even if the Conqueror's haki is on Luo En, it is only average. Compared with the monster Garp, it pales into insignificance. Ha ha ha, it's getting more and more interesting. With laughter, Garp appeared in front of the 3 of them. Ace and Luffy looked at the raised iron fist of love, and the corners of their mouths twitched violently. Stop, stop, I have something to say. Luo En shouted at the top of his lungs. Oh, what do you want to say? Garp narrowed his eyes and looked at this strange kid with a sense of oppression. Luo En calmed down and stood up. Tell me about Luffy. And the reason why I took Luffy to sea. Huh, what else is there to say? If you let my grandson become a pirate, I won't let you go. As Garp said this, he lowered his raised fist. He still wanted to hear it, and was a little curious about the guy in front of him. Luo En asked Ace and Luffy to leave, and he wanted to talk to Garp alone. Ace and Luffy left confused. Now, only Luo En and Garp were left. Ace, Luffy, are you two okay? Zoro, Sanji, Nami and others met Ace and Luffy with worried faces on their faces. Who is that marine? Why is Luo En talking to him? Usopp asked in a low voice. That's our grandpa. A wry smile appeared on Ace's lips. Faced with such a situation, he was really helpless. Ah, your grandpa. Everyone was shocked. Well, now let's see if Luo En can find any solution. Otherwise, our pirate group may be disbanded. Ace covered his head and said with a headache. Why did you meet the old man? Well, skull hurts. Luffy picked his nose and couldn't help but feel anxious. Luo En, is there really a way to deal with the situation at hand? Chapter 29 Garp Approval. Luo En and Garp looked at each other quietly. Kid, if you have something to say, tell me quickly. Garp urged. Luo En cleared his throat and was about to use his lifelong skills. Vice Admiral Garp, I wonder if you know one thing, the existence of Joey Boy, do you understand? Luo En said with a bang. Joy Boy. Garp's eyes narrowed, obviously shocked. How does the kid in front of me know the existence of Joy Boy? You know it from the look on your face, so I won't say much more about what he represents. Next, I want to talk about Luffy. Do you think Luffy's devil fruit ability is rubber? Luo En followed the instructions step by step. Don't be so pretentious and tell me quickly, Garp urged. It has to be said that his curiosity has been aroused. Then let me tell you straight, the rubber ability of Luffy's devil fruit is just superficial. The real name of his fruit is Zone Human Fruit Phantom Beast Species Nika Form. The legendary sun god, he inherits Joey Boy's will the presence. What did you say? Garp's eyes widened, as if he had heard a fantasy. His grandson is actually the successor of Joy Boy. Joey Boy is the #1 enemy of the world government. Stop talking nonsense here, I won't be easily deceived by you. Garp calmed down and questioned firmly. Moreover, he suddenly had the idea of killing people and silencing them. Sensing the change in Garp's eyes, Luo En hurriedly said, you have to think clearly, after Luffy takes this fruit, his fate cannot be changed. As long as he is allowed to grow, sooner or later he will be discovered by the world government and fall into endless trouble, is being pursued. By then, even you may not be able to revolving heaven. Even if you want to kill me, you have to wait until you finish speaking. I have solved Luffy's problem, so I took him out to sea specially. Luo En said with a strong desire to survive. He is just gambling. The first time he bet was on Ace, and then he started to take a turn of fate. But now, it is a more important bet. Garp already knows the news. Once the bet loses, Garp will not let him go. Luo En deeply lamented the feeling of powerlessness without strength. If Whitebeard had the power now, he would roll up his sleeves and F***K Garp. However, he is now a weakling in Garp's eyes. Although he is as powerful as a vice admiral, and Garp is also a vice admiral. There is a huge difference between vice admiral and vice admiral. Let's not tell you what your solution is. How do you know this? And why should I believe it? Garp frowned and asked. He somewhat believed it, but wanted to confirm it. I have the ability to spy on destiny. Don't think I'm talking nonsense. What do you want to know? Your son Long is the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Is Ace's father Roger? It was you who helped Rouge become the ace he is today. Let's talk about other things, such as the truth about Rock's collapse in the Valley of Gods. Garp's face became more and more shocked. Until Luo En mentioned the Valley of the Gods, Garp could no longer remain calm and scolded Luo En to shut up. Shut up. Who are you? Garp's eyes were sharp, revealing a dangerous light. Luo En spread his hands and said helplessly, I just have a unique ability. If you don't believe that I can help Luffy, there is nothing you can do. Bet. Life is a big gamble. Bet Garp won't kill him. Initially, Garp was about to take action, but after hearing Luffy, he hesitated again. As for what Luo En said, Garp had to believe it. It's okay that Dragon's identity is known to Sengoku and others. But Ace's identity, no one knows more than one hand. It's strange for Luo En to know. Valley of the Gods, that's taboo. So, what solution do you have? If you lie to me, you know the consequences. Garp said coldly, showing the haughty and majesty he deserved at this moment. They are about to wake up. Let's talk in another place. Luo En glanced around and said softly. Next, he will trick Garp into entering the Universal Training Warehouse. If he could find a way to let Garp practice for 3 days. Luo En didn't dare to think about it. It would be great to be able to survive. Garp took a deep breath and acquiesced. Then he ordered Bogart to deal with this place, and he left with Spade. Bogart was confused and looked at the departing figures and muttered, what is Vice Admiral Garp planning to do? After an hour, on the Spade pirate ship, Garp strode out of the Universal Training Warehouse, his face full of shock and disbelief, and exclaimed, there is such a magical thing. This kind of technology, even Vegapunk can't do it. That boy, you are indeed a genius. Quote. Garp praised without hesitation. He, as long as you are satisfied, my name is Luo En. Luo En breathed a sigh of relief, and Garp seemed to accept this fact. As for Luffy's solution, what other solutions are there? Of course, getting stronger. By the time the world government finds out, Luffy is already the supreme sun god. What can he say about I am at that time? Chapter 30 Garp on board. Even if Garp is not satisfied with this solution, he has to be satisfied. After seeing the pervert effect of the training warehouse, Garp felt that what Luo En said was not impossible. 1 hour is equivalent to 15 days. Although 1 hour a day is only 1 hour, it is enough. Calculating this, it only takes 24 days to achieve the results of 1 year of practice. In less than 100 days, you can have the results of 4 years of cultivation. An absolute cheating tool for training. In other words, what Garp recognized was not Luo En, but a training cheat. Also, he knew that Luo En did not force Luffy to board the ship, but took Luffy on the voyage just to let him use the Universal Training Chamber. This won Garp's favor even more. Ha ha ha, Luo En, I remember you are a good boy, much better than these two brats. Garp nodded with satisfaction. Knowing that Luffy's devil fruit is the #1 enemy of the world government, Garp is frightened. As a result, the people who want to teach more are 4 Emperor's Shanks. Garp's teeth itch with hatred when he thinks of Shanks. Now, Luo En has temporarily found hope for Luffy to break the tie, and Garp can only rely on this. Let Luffy become stronger, and Ace and others take care of him. Especially Luo En, Garp was impressed and thought that his future achievements would not be low, so he made up his mind to approve their actions. Then look, can we leave? Luo En rubbed his hands and said with a smile. Garp sighed helplessly, let's go. But you boys, please pay attention to me and don't make too much limelight. Especially you, Luo En, you are still on Marine's most wanted list. And Ace's identity. Oh, you guys are really a bunch of people who won't let you go. A worry-free guy. Originally, Garp was giving serious instructions, but at the end, he sighed deeply. Luo En, Ace, Luffy, the 3 guys who are not tolerated by the world government and Marine come together. Not surprisingly, they will definitely be Marine's biggest enemy in the future. However, he is still letting water here, it seems a bit too, ahem. But it was impossible for Garp to deal with his grandson by himself, and he did it with peace of mind. Don't worry, we all understand. Luo En patted Ace and Luffy on the shoulders and assured, I will definitely keep an eye on them and they will never attract any big attention. Let's go. Garp waved his hand and jumped off the boat. Watching Garp leave, Luo En asked tentatively, Well, if you, old man, are not in a hurry, you can sail with us for a while. The Universal Training Warehouse will also be helpful to you, right? Garp paused. What nonsense is this kid talking about? Let Lousy sail with them on a pirate ship. Are you crazy or am I crazy? Get out. Garp scolded with a dark face. Okay. Luo En smiled, turned around and ordered everyone to sail away as quickly as possible. Until Logue Town disappeared from sight, Luo En couldn't help but smack his lips and sighed in his heart. It would be great if Garp could practice for 3 days. A huge opportunity was right in front of me, but I just missed it. But Luo En is not depressed either. This time he has the secret support of Garp, which is the biggest gain. And next, everyone is about to enter the Grand Line. Grand Line. Lousy is here. Luo En, this guy is so different from others, what kind of pervert did that training warehouse come from? Various skill training. Even Conquerors has ways to improve it. It's terrifying. Garp sighed repeatedly, with an undisguised look of shock in his eyes. Having just entered the Universal Training Chamber, Garp experienced all the training methods. When he came out, he acted normal, but in fact he was extremely shocked. Watching the ship go away, a low murmur is left on the shore. The future belongs to young people, you guys don't let me down. Climb upside down mountain and officially enter the Grand Line. The first stop for everyone was to reach Cactus Island. Whiskey Mountain. This is one of the strongholds of the Baroque working society led by Crocodile. There are many bounty hunters who specialize in hunting down pirates. But was easily killed by the Spade Pirates. Even Galdino, known as the third brother of Zhonghu, happened to be in Whiskey Mountain and became Luo En's prisoner. Luo En acts according to his own plan, starting from God's perspective. Taking Galdino on the boat, we headed straight to the next location, Little Garden. The 2 giants in Little Garden are Luo En's targets. Meanwhile, Crocodile was contacted through Galdino. Luo En told the other party directly that if he wanted to know the news about Pluton, he should come to Little Garden to meet him. Luo En is officially preparing to take action against Crocodile. Crocodile's target is Pluton, and Luo En uses this as bait to lure him here. I did this simply because I didn't want to attract too much attention. As for Crocodile, after learning the news, whether Pluton was true or false, he was ready to rush to Little Garden. The killers of Baroque works were summoned, led by Crocodile himself, and went straight to Little Garden. Chapter 31 Dory. Brigitte, President, the staff has been assembled. Mr. 1, a dark-skinned man, respectfully reports. In front of him was a tall man holding a cigar and wearing a generous cloak. Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai. Let's go, Little Garden. After Crocodile learned about Pluton's news, he couldn't sit still. Whether it was true or false, he had to confirm it himself. Beside him, a woman in white clothes flashed her eyes, guessing Crocodile's purpose. Son of the devil, Nico Robin. President, what happened? She asked cautiously. Crocodile took a puff of his cigar, blew out a puff of cigarette, and said solemnly, enemies have appeared in Little Garden, go and deal with them. Naturally, he couldn't tell the truth clearly. Robin nodded calmly. Afterwards, a large number of people set off in great force. At the same time, the Spade Pirates arrive at Prehistoric Island. Prehistoric Island is one of the islands located on the Grand Line. Also called Pangu Island or Little Garden. Due to the difficulty of navigation on the islands of the Grand Line, there was little communication between the islands. As a result, each island developed its own civilization. There are islands with highly civilized islands and there are islands that have remained the same without any progress for thousands of years. Because the chaotic climate of the Grand Line makes all kinds of things possible, the island still maintains the appearance of the dinosaur era. There are not only dinosaurs but also large beasts and everything is very huge, just like a giant's garden, so some people call it Little Garden. Soon Luo En and his party were attracted by the huge movement. Luo En knew it well, but Ace and others were very curious and rushed to the place where the sound came from. From a distance, everyone saw a shocking scene, and everyone was stunned from ear to ear. They were 2 burly giants with a height of more than 20 meters. One person is holding an axe and the other is holding a sword. At the same time, both of them are wearing shields on their left hands. Their clothes are shabby and they are engaged in a duel. The huge momentum shook the entire island and trembled. What a big man. Luffy's eyes lit up, as if he had discovered something new and interesting. Usopp swallowed his saliva and said nervously, Luo En, what kind of monster is this? We won't intrude into their territory by mistake, right? Can they eat people? Facing such a huge creature for the first time, Usopp couldn't help but feel nervous. The pressure from those 2 people was simply too strong. They're giants, right? They're not cannibals, so how can they eat people? Sanji retorted while lighting a cigarette. Usopp was visibly relieved to hear that he wouldn't be able to eat people. But their reminder is too huge. Nami sighed sincerely. He really didn't know how this giant species appeared. And Zoro tightened his grip on the handle of the knife and said with a solemn expression, a strong beast's aura. He was eager to take on the challenge. Luo En quickly patted Zoro on the shoulder and reminded, don't mess around, this is not something you can deal with now. Joke. Former captain of the giant pirates. Blue Ogre. Dory. Red Ghost. Brigitte. Because of a childish question, two Elbaf warriors who once dominated the sea have been dueling here for hundreds of years like idiots. It is really speechless. But their strength is undoubtedly strong. As for the early stage, it's completely a weakening of the plot. How could two guys be so weak if they could drink and chat with the red-haired Shanks? Luo En, let's leave quickly. It's too dangerous. If they find out, we won't even be able to run away. Nami advised. The eldest sister didn't want to eliminate such a terrifying unknown creature. Luo En has already arrived at Prehistoric Island, how could he miss such a good opportunity? Don't worry, Nami, there will be no danger. Luo En smiled and walked forward. Luffy followed closely behind with excitement on his face. Ace, Zoro, and Sanji all raised their heels. Nami and Usopp shook their heads with despairing expressions and had no choice but to follow. Hello, how are you? Luo En put his hands to his mouth and shouted loudly. The sudden sound made the two giant warriors pause for a moment, and then they started to pull away from each other while looking for the source of the sound. They soon saw the tiny group of people. Who are you? Dory glanced at him and asked in a shaking voice. We passed by here by chance. Luo En responded loudly. However, before he could continue speaking, he was rudely interrupted by Brigitte. Stay away and don't disturb our duel. Lousy will win soon. Fart. The winner is obviously Lousy. Then let's see who is the final winner. Dory and Brigitte had a disagreement and started fighting again. Luo En had a dark look on his face. Don't giants have brains? Can such a retarded statement serve as a signal for a fight? Luo En wants to conquer the power of the two of them, but he can't wait for them to fight endlessly. Hey, listen to me carefully. Luo En roared dissatisfied. Immediately, the pupils contracted, and a powerful terrifying aura was released, spreading to the entire prehistoric island in the blink of an eye. Countless lackeys and beasts fainted one after another, and birds fell from the sky. Conquerors. Freed. Chapter 32 Elbaf's Secret. Dory and Brigitte paused again, looking at the figure releasing a huge aura in surprise. That small figure in their eyes could not be ignored at this moment. Conqueror's Haki slowly converged. Calm returned to the surrounding area. Hey, I haven't seen the guy who awakened Conqueror's Haki in a long time. Brigitte laughed. Awakening Conqueror's Haki kid, what are you going to do? Dory stared at Luo En with a wary expression. You two, we are just pirates passing by here. When I saw you two dueling here, I suddenly remembered a pirate group that once dominated the sea, the giant soldier pirates. You two really look familiar. Luo En he raised his head and said directly. Oh, I didn't expect you to recognize us at such a young age. That's right. Lousy is the captain of the giant pirates, Dory. Lousy is the captain, Brigitte. Dory and Brigitte proudly introduced. Then Brigitte laughed and said, hey, it seems that the reputation of the giant soldier pirates is still known to everyone even when we are away. The pirate group formed by the powerful warriors of Elbaf is definitely the strongest pirate group in the sea. Dory said proudly. Luffy scratched his head and said with a confused expression, the giant pirates. Why have you never heard of them? Exactly, where can there be such a pirate group, the strongest pirate group in the sea? Usopp was speechless. He didn't expect that someone could brag better than him. Ace, Zoro and others also looked at a loss and had no idea what the giant pirates were. Seeing everyone like this, Dory immediately became angry. What qualifications does a young boy who just went to sea have to know about the great giant pirates? That's right, you don't know about the giant pirates and you still claim to be pirates. Brigitte said with great disdain. Luo En jumped up and jumped onto a big tree, so that he could talk to the two giants without too much effort. Powerful. Number one in the world. It's time for you to wake up. The giant pirates have been disbanded long ago. Luo En roared mercilessly. What? The giant pirates have been disbanded? Dory was shocked. Brigitte's face showed a fierce look. Kid, stop talking nonsense here. If you anger Lousy, I won't let you go easily. Dare you say that the giant soldier pirates have been disbanded? How daring. It's just a fact. How many years have you been dueling here? Don't you know it yourself? After you disappeared, the giant pirates were in dire straits. They were leaderless and quickly disbanded. In addition, some of the crew members were even used by the world government in order to find you, being treated as a gatekeeper. Luo En said bluntly. Be presumptuous. Stop talking nonsense. Dory's face was full of anger, and he slashed at Luo En with the giant sword in his hand. The strong wind tore apart countless trees before the sword arrived. However, Luo En's figure flashed and he shifted his position to avoid the blow. I didn't expect that the dignified Blue Ogre and Red Ghost wouldn't even have the courage to accept the reality. Luo En scolded with an invisible force on his body. Even when facing a tall giant, he still felt suppressed. Kid, how did you know that? Brigitte had a bad feeling in his heart. Of course I have a way I know. Moreover, Elbaf has been targeted and infiltrated by various forces because of its rich resources. The current Elbaf giant family is not monolithic at all. The four emperors, composed of four powerful pirates who rose from the sea. The pirate group, known as the Sea Emperor, as well as the world government and other forces, all cooperate with the giants to mine and acquire resources. Each force supports a member of the giants as a partner. The giant royal family, apart from being relatively stable, the other giants have been divided into several branches and are no longer united at all, let alone as strong as before. Luo En speaks loudly and shows no mercy. Dory and Brigitte faces alternated between red and white. They didn't know whether they were angry or shocked, but their chests were rising and falling violently. Besides, there is no need for me to lie to you. If you don't believe it, you can return to Elbaf to see if this is the case. Also, as the captain of the mighty giant pirates, you want to prove who is stronger just because of an unintentional question. It's so ridiculous. If you are really capable, why do you lead an army of giants by one person? Let's see who if you defeat the world first, won't you prove yourself even more by competing like this? What you are doing now is something only a weak person would do. Luo En's words completely made Dory and Brigitte explode. The two of them couldn't help but attack Luo En. Upon seeing this, Ace and others were about to take action, but were stopped by Luo En. Don't move, let me meet them. Luo En knew very well that if he wanted to gain recognition from the two giants, group fighting would not be acceptable. On Prehistoric Island, a more intense battle broke out. Chapter 33 Admiral Strength. Half a day later, there was a burst of laughter on Prehistoric Island. I'm sorry, you two. Because I know the past between the two of you, and I feel sad about the current situation of the giant clan, I said something harsh. I am here to apologize with wine. Luo En raised his glass and explained with a smile. Ba Fi, it's hard to imagine someone with such a magical ability to see the fate of others. Luo En, we want to thank you so much for letting us stop meaningless duels. Brigitte laughed and picked up the wine bowl. Yes, Luo En, from now on, you will be our giant's friend. If you have any trouble, come to us anytime. Dory promised, patting his chest. With his sharp tongue and complete knowledge of the plot, Luo En finally succeeded in convincing the two giants and became friends. Moreover, Luo En is completely determined to deal with these two. Over time, he will definitely not be his opponent. There is no doubt about the strength of Dory and Brigitte. Friendship is so simple. Everyone raised their wine bowls and drank the wine in one gulp. So, are you planning to return to Elbaf? Luo En heard the meaning of departure in Dory's words. Dory nodded and said, yes, if the giants really want to fall apart like you said, we have to go back. How could the powerful giant clan decline? How can the soldiers of Elbaf submit to others? Then I look forward to the mighty giant pirate group appearing again. I believe the entire sea will be shocked by this. Luo En raised his wine glass again. To make these two giants happy, drinking is essential. Dory and Brigitte are also in a good mood, and they are brothers to everyone they meet. Brigitte smiled and said, Brown, Luo En. Come to Elbaf when you have time in the future, and Lousy will get you a piece of Atom Tree to build a pirate ship. The Atom Tree is the best shipbuilding material in the world. Luo En was overjoyed. It's a deal. I'll do it first. It's a deal. Do it. Have fun. Do it, comma. During the banquet, Luo En found the two giants, and one of his goals was the treasure tree Atom. If he wants to build a unique pirate ship, Luo En must use the best materials, and his plan requires more than just a section of treasure tree Atom trees. It requires a huge amount of treasure tree Atom trees. After hearing Brigitte's promise, Luo En thought to himself, this meal was not in vain. Ace beside him was drinking wine absent-mindedly. This time, Luo En once again showed his powerful ability to spy on destiny, even convincing the two giants. Ace finally admired Luo En from the bottom of his heart. That means one thing, Sabo is definitely still alive. Sabo, I will definitely get you back. Ace gulped down a bowl of wine and swore silently in his mind. After having enough wine and food, Luo En took out the Universal Training Warehouse and suggested that Dory and Brigitte should experience it and go into practice. And with Luo En's hard work and persuasion, he practiced for 3 consecutive days. 3 days later, Dory and Brigitte went to sea again, leaving Prehistoric Island and returning to Elbaf. Perhaps, the early appearance of Dory and Brigitte will seriously affect Elbaf's current multi-party structure. Oh, Crocodile is not very good at all. You have waited for him for 3 days and he still hasn't come. Are you really not curious about Pluton's news? Luo En leaned in the shadow of a tree trunk in boredom and wondered in his heart. 3 days was enough for Crocodile to appear. Luo En also planned to borrow the power of Dory and Brigitte to deal with Crocodile. Now that these two people are gone, Crocodile has not yet appeared. It's a bit disappointing. However, despite being disappointed, there is something that gives Luo En hope. That is strength. Open black lens bracket host. Luo En close black lens bracket. Pirates. Spades Pirates. Crew. Gal D. Ace. Monkey D. Luffy. Roronoa Zoro. Usopp. Nami. Sanji. Dory Giant. Brigitte Giant. Ability. Open black lens bracket Mera Mera fruit close black lens bracket. Renren fruit phantom beast species Nika form unawakened. Open black lens bracket Conquerors Hockey LV7 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Amamant Hockey LV8 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Observation Hockey LV6 close black lens bracket. Taijutsu LV9. Swordsmanship LV5. Strengthening 6 forms LV6. Kicking skills. Sniping skills. Cooking skills. Navigation skills. Open black lens bracket Strength. Admiral Close Black Lens Bracket. In just 3 days, Luo En's strength was directly upgraded from Vice Admiral to Admiral strength. Everything comes from Dory and Brigitte. After 3 days in the training warehouse, they were directly judged as crew members, and their combined strength was transferred to Luo En. Luo En was shocked by such a breakthrough. Brigitte and Dory, as former captains of the giant pirates, are extremely powerful and cannot be underestimated. Even more horrifying is that both men awakened the Conqueror's haki, which was never shown. Let Luo En's Conqueror's level break through LV7. As of today, his Conqueror's level is able to cast Tangle. It can be said that Luo En has reached the ranks of the strong. Especially in terms of physical skills, reaching LV9, he is a well-deserved powerhouse. Chapter 34 Crocodile appears. Luo En has well-deserved admiral strength. In the world of pirates, the generals and emperors are supposed to be on the same level. However, the performance of 4 emperors is much stronger than that of admiral. In the battle at the top, Whitebeard hammers Akainu, and Blackbeard loses his blood. Deputy Beckman pointed a single gun at Kizaru, making him afraid to act rashly. This greatly highlights the power of 4 emperors, but makes admiral seem to be nothing more than that. However, Whitebeard is known as the strongest man in the world. His incredible strength comes entirely from his own pervert and has nothing to do with the 4 emperors. It's not that he is strong because he is 4 emperors, but because he is strong, he is 4 emperors. To put it bluntly, the title of 4 emperors cannot limit Whitebeard's monster-level strength. And Kizaru's actions can only mean that he is fishing in the water, right? After all, Aokiji was later revealed to own conquerors, how could Kizaru and Akainu not? In essence, the general and emperor are of the same level. However, the 4 emperors are all monsters beyond normal. This creates the gap between 4 emperors and admiral. And Luo En's current admiral strength can only be called normal strength, far from monster level. There is still huge room for growth. Of course, Luo En is already very satisfied with the power brought by Dory and Brigitte. Even more satisfying is that Dory and Brigitte were also judged to be S-class crew members. Now, there are 8 S-class crew members under Luo En. 10 places away, only the last 2. The opening of bonus features is just around the corner. You know, just over a month has passed since Luo En obtained admiral strength from a handyman pirate, and the news was enough to shake the entire sea. Fortunately, Crocodile did not keep Luo En waiting for too long. When many killers sneaked into prehistoric island from all directions, they finally formed an encirclement and approached Luo En and others. Everyone, get ready to welcome the guests. Luo En slowly stood up and greeted Ace, Luffy and others. Everyone looked wary. The wind howled. A streak of quicksand suddenly appeared, and then transformed into a tall figure, holding a cigar in his mouth and looking unruly. Shichibukai, Sir Crocodile. Behind him, Robin, Mr. 1, Mr. 2 and other cadres filed out and lined up beside Crocodile. Many killers poured out from all around, a total of 300 people, surrounding Luo En and his party on 3 levels inside and 3 levels outside. President, save me. Galdino was imprisoned next to a big tree with seastone handcuffs. When he saw Crocodile, he seemed to have seen a savior and shouted loudly. Crocodile glanced at him, then took a deep drag on his cigar, exhaled a puff of smoke, and said coldly, Kid, are you the one behind the scenes? The tone was a bit suspicious. He looked at the few brats in front of him and even wanted to laugh. The battle is really big, Luo En said with a smile, and took 2 steps forward to confront Crocodile. Say, where is Pluton? Crocodile's tone suddenly became cold, and a sandstorm slowly formed in his palm. Pluton. Upon hearing these 2 words, Robin's body was obviously stunned for a moment before returning to normal. Pluton. I don't know where it is at all. I just tricked you into coming here. Luo En spread his hands and said in a very rogue manner. Facing Crocodile, he is still very confident now. Besides, there is no one around, so there is no need for him to hide his strength. What did you say? Playing with lousy. You are seeking death. Crocodile's expression was gloomy and his voice was cold. Whether it's true or not, he has to capture Luo En first. If the other party dares to use Pluton as bait to lure him here, he definitely knows something. The next second, a sandstorm quickly enlarged in Crocodile's hands, eventually forming yellow sand floating in the sky. The sandstorm generally covered Luo En and others overwhelmingly. Ace's eyes narrowed and he murmured, Logia ability user. The next moment, a flame shot up into the sky and shot out. Fire punch. Boom. The monstrous flames became more violent, mercilessly hitting the sandstorm, causing a strong collision, and finally the storm slowly dissipated under the shocked eyes of everyone. Fire. Logia user. Crocodile narrowed his eyes, revealing a dangerous look. He didn't expect to meet a Logia demon fruit power. You actually blocked the president's attack. Mr. 1 looked shocked. Both parties have a Logia ability user at the same time. Luo En suddenly stopped Ace who was about to attack again. Ace, leave him to me. Since he wants to conquer Crocodile, Luo En must show his strength to make him surrender. When Ace heard this, his expression suddenly became extremely surprised. You want to do something? Yeah, you go deal with the others. Luo En walked past Ace and walked towards Crocodile. Kids, you are so arrogant. Crocodile, who was being pushed around like a plaything, was completely angry. Lousy is Crocodile. Who do you think you are facing? Everyone, finish them off. Crocodile drank deeply and gave the order. Kill. Come on, brothers. Finally we can take action. Kill them. The killers roared and swarmed around him. Chapter 35 Laosha is confused. A chaotic war is about to break out. However, Ace's arms were wrapped with flames, his eyes were cold, his pupils suddenly shrank, and a huge terrifying aura erupted from his body. Ace opens Conqueror's Haki directly. He deeply remembered Luo En's words. His current role as Conqueror's Haki, apart from clearing the field and showing off, has no effect. So, he's here to clear the board and free Conqueror's Haki. Buzz. This terrifying momentum was like a ferocious beast, and it was beyond the reach of ordinary people. As it spread like a tide, the killers rushing around fell down one by one. Even the cadres were not spared death. At last, of the 300 people Crocodile had brought, only 3 were still standing. Crocodile. Robin. Mr. 1. You know, during the Summit War, Luffy unconsciously released Conqueror's Haki, which stunned Gardino. Ace is now a trained Conqueror's Haki, which is even more terrifying. What happened almost in an instant made the 3 Crocodile completely confused. Robin and Mr. 1 didn't know what happened at all, they just felt a terrifying momentum, and then everyone fell down. What is this? Robin muttered, covering his mouth subconsciously. Cold sweat broke out on Mr. 1's forehead, and he had no idea what the other party was doing. Crocodile's expression became more gloomy, but he was also shocked by the scene in front of him, and then a long-lost word appeared in his mind. Conqueror's Haki. Not only a Logia user, but also an awakened one of Conqueror's Haki. Who is this kid? Crocodile's eyes fell on Ace, and he felt that Ace was the biggest threat. Luo En turned his head in confusion and looked at Ace, who was leaning against Haki, with a confused look on his face. Question mark question mark question mark. What's the situation? Keep these people for the big guys to test their combat prowess. What do you mean by killing them instantly? Ace. That's too cruel. Luo En covered his forehead and shook his head helplessly. Ace twitched his lips, looked around, and said disdainfully, how dare these guys come to trouble us if they are so weak? He himself was equally confused. Who would have thought that the menacing enemy could be so weak? Has his Conqueror's Haki become stronger? These words seemed to kick Crocodile hard in the face, and rub the shoe pads hard on his face. Ace's subconscious words were deeply humiliating to Crocodile. The majestic Shichibukai, Crocodile, was underestimated. Underestimating lousy. Sand blade. Crocodile waved his hand to condense the quicksand, and a sand blade jumped up from the ground, piercing Luo En's body in front of everyone's horrified eyes. A bunch of brats who don't know the heights of heaven and earth. Lousy is not something you can contend with. Crocodile's smile was cold and murderous. This one hit will kill you, it's really cool. Luo En. Captain. Ace and Zoro looked shocked, completely frightened by the scene before them. Luo En was pierced through the body by a sand blade attack. Luo En. Just when everyone rushed to Luo En and prepared to check his condition, Luo En's wound suddenly burned with bright flames. Don't be impulsive, I'm fine. Luo En comforted. Ace suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, almost forgetting that Luo En's ability is copying. If you copy Mera Mera fruit, you can also have Logia's ability and be able to elementalize it, provided that the opponent does not use Haki. It's scary. Nami patted her chest and let out a long sigh of relief. Although Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy were frightened for a while, they all calmed down. Zoro, go kill that bald man. Luo En said immediately. Upon hearing this, Zoro looked at Mr. 1, who also felt something and looked at Zoro. After that, without much words, the two sides started fighting. Robin, just wait quietly for the battle to end. You can't interfere with what's going on here. Luo En looked at Robin again, his eyes like those of a beast filled with irresistible majesty. It was as if the Emperor was giving orders to his people. After saying this, Luo En faced Crocodile again, and the flames on his body burned, and his whole body left the sand blade. Hey, let me tell you, he was the one who took action, and he was the one who mocked you, but you made a sneak attack on Lousy. Luo En asked Crocodile, pointing at Ace. This old boy has absolutely no moral ethics. In fact, Luo En had already noticed what he saw just now, but he just didn't understand. Ace was the one who showed off his power, so why was he the one who got hurt? It seems that we have to hold on tight in the future, and rushing to the front is the most dangerous thing. The corner of Ace's mouth twitched, and he was completely speechless at Luo En's words. Is now the time to talk about these things. As for Crocodile, he didn't pay attention to what Luo En said at all. He just stared at Luo En with his eyes. To be more precise, it was the fire burning on his body. If he wasn't blind, it was the fire ability used by Madara, the kid with the sparrow on his face. How come this guy can also use fire abilities now? How could the same devil fruit ability appear in two people? What the hell is going on? Lao Sha was really confused. Chapter 36 Kai Ba Tang. Kill Croc instantly. What's going on with your flames? Who are you? Crocodile roared in a somewhat defensive tone. Where did these weird guys come from? Crocodile, I'll give you a chance to be my subordinate. Luo En slowly put away the flames in his body, recovered his body, and extended an olive branch to Crocodile. At this time, Luo En suddenly thought of someone. Whitebeard. When others recruit crew members, they always say, be my subordinates partners. Whitebeard. Be my son. Inexplicable hockey. A brother who doesn't want to be a brother's father is not a good brother. Hey, you really made Lousy very unhappy. Crocodile bit his cigar with a look of evil on his face. In his opinion, the other party was humiliating him. At the same time, the battle between Zoro and Mr. One has begun. Ding ding ding. The knife struck the opponent's body, but there was a sound of metal and iron interlacing, which made Zoro very surprised. Mr. One's arms transformed into blades, and he smiled confidently. My whole body can become as hard as steel, and you can't hurt me. So, the outcome is already obvious. When Zoro heard this, a strange smile appeared on his lips. He untied the green turban on his arms for a moment, then tied the turban tightly again. If the opponent is as strong as steel, that's just too much. He has long mastered the slash that can cut through steel. It's just steel. Kill everything. Zoro shouted low, then jumped out like a swift cheetah, swung his 3 swords, and unleashed a killing blow. Even the weapon colors were not used. How can you be called a swordsman if you can't cut through mere steel? Mr. One's steel hardened subconsciously, his arm turned into a sharp blade shape, and he slashed out towards Zoro's figure. The figures on both sides passed each other. Zoro landed and calmly put the knife away. After Mr. One landed, a bright red line of blood shot directly on his chest, and he fell to the ground the next moment. Without even saying a word, he was instantly killed by Zoro. Zoro's growth is terrifying. He has already understood Zantetsu, especially before he used armament hockey just now. Now their growth is too pervert. Seeing Mr. One knocked down so quickly, Crocodile was completely stunned. The battle on his side has not yet begun, but the battle on his side is over. Who is the other party? A bad feeling lingered in Crocodile's mind. Crocodile, say it again, surrender, or die. Luo En hockey pointed at Crocodile, exuding a sense of oppression that was difficult to distinguish. Crocodile feels great pressure, but he is not someone who can be intimidated. Even so, he still cannot be captured without restraint. The lower body suddenly turned into flowing dragon curls and rushed out with a roar. The golden hook in his hand exuded a cold light, approaching Luo En. Especially the hook contains poison, which is his hidden trump card. However, in Luo En's eyes, these methods are nothing more than little doyle. Luo En's eyes were cold, looking at the speeding figure, with a mysterious smile on his lips. The hanging arm slowly raised, an unidentifiable aura rose from his body, and Conqueror's hockey was released. But it did not spread. Instead, it was condensed into one place and wrapped around his arm and fist. This moment, Luo En starts to dominate. Invisible lightning surrounded him. The wind was roaring all around, and the clouds in the sky seemed to be getting lower. Kid, this is what happens if you piss off Lousy. Along with the angry shout, Crocodile's figure quickly enlarged in Luo En's eyes, with murderous intent. However, facing the opponent's fierce attack, Luo En just punched. A punch entwined with dark lightning was thrown out in an ordinary manner. Boom. Before it came into contact with Crocodile, the strong impact had already completely exploded, impacting Crocodile. Even in elemental form, he still suffered this heavy blow. Crocodile's eyes were filled with shock and confusion. Why did the other party's attack fall on him even though there was no contact? And, completely powerless to resist. What kind of power is this? Crocodile flew backwards at a speed faster than he had sprinted forward. Blood poured out of his chest and turned into a sweet red color, spilling out of his mouth and staining his cloak. Bang bang bang. Crocodile's body was in the air, crashing into dozens of huge trees like a cannonball before crashing into a mountain. Luo En put down his momentum and clapped his hands, showing off his masterly demeanor. With a thunderous strike, take down Crocodile. One strike. Instant kill. At this moment, everyone is messy in the wind. How come? Crocodile was killed instantly with one punch. Who is he? Robin covered her mouth, the shock and fear in her eyes could no longer be concealed. She couldn't understand how Crocodile was killed instantly. She is very aware of Crocodile's strength. How terrifying is the strength of the young man in front of her. Robin couldn't imagine it. When did their Baroque Works company provoke such a powerful enemy? If Garp were here, his jaw would definitely drop. It has only been a few days, but Luo En has mastered Ba Tang. It's simply impossible. Chapter 37 Robin, come join us. The scene fell into dead silence for a while. Everyone in the Spade Pirates fell into silence, each one more shocked than the other. Luo En, what kind of attack was that? He knocked people away before they even made contact. Ace's eyes widened, shock written all over his face. He believed that even if Luo En could fight Crocodile, he would not win easily. What was supposed to be a tough battle was now solved by Luo En with one punch. Ace couldn't accept it for a while. When did Luo En become stronger again? How can he regain his position as captain if this continues? The most important thing is, what exactly is that attack? Huge doubts lingered in Ace's heart. His Conqueror's hockey has not yet reached the point where he can dominate, so he doesn't understand him. Luffy's eyes lit up and he exclaimed, so handsome. Luo En's punch was not only very strong, but also very handsome. In the East Blue or the first half of the Grand Line, armament hockey is very rare, let alone dominating. Instant kill upon taking action. Is this the strength of the captain? Zoro looked shocked, digesting the scene in front of him, and held the handle of the knife harder. He is under great pressure. In front of this monster, 100% effort becomes insufficient. Seconds. The other party is Shichibukai under the world government. He is a famous pirate. How could he be killed with one punch? Nami's beautiful eyes showed an incredible light, and she subconsciously covered her mouth with both hands, very shocked. Said. Crocodile's status, in her eyes, was that of a pirate they couldn't compete with now, but he was instantly killed by Luo En. Is Crocodile too weak, or is Luo En too strong? Captain is getting more and more incredible. What is it about devil fruit that is so powerful? Sanji took a deep breath of cigarette, his mind confused. He really couldn't think of any devil fruit ability that would make people so pervert. Usopp breathed a sigh of relief, looked excited, and waved his fist heavily. Win. No matter how Luo En did it, wouldn't it be great if he won? Luo En had a clear view of everyone's performance, but he just smiled lightly and did not explain. Instead, he asked people to bring Crocodile back. Zoro and Sanji walked to the mountain and were shocked again. Crocodile looked extremely miserable, embedded in the mountain like a specimen, with shock and fear written all over his face, and the expression in his widened eyes was shattered. He had lost consciousness and fainted. Luo En, what did you do just now? Ace walked to Luo En and asked seriously. Luo En explained with a smile. Conqueror's Haki entanglement. Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's is still used in this way. Ace was shocked. Didn't you say that Conqueror's Haki can only clean up trash and show off? Why is it still so powerful now? Don't be surprised. Your current Conqueror's Haki is not strong enough to master Ba Matang. Once your Conqueror's Haki is strong enough, you will be able to master Ba Matang. The power of Ba Matang is more powerful than the armed color. So, Ace, be good, work hard. Luo En educated him with a serious look on his face. Ace twitched the corner of his mouth. This wave was indeed installed by Luo En. At this time Zoro and Sanji came back dragging Crocodile. It's just that Lao Sha is still in a coma and won't wake up for a while. Luo En glanced at him, then looked at Robin and waved. Robin, come here, we can have a good talk before he wakes up. Robin controlled the fear in his heart and walked over slowly. Luo En was as terrifying as a demon in her eyes. She surrendered to Crocodile, and even though Crocodile was powerful, Crocodile was instantly killed by Luo En with one punch. What is Luo En's strength? She couldn't imagine it at all. Join us, Nico Robin. Luo En got straight to the point when he came up. Everyone in the Spade Pirates. Robin. Everyone was stunned by Luo En's words. Join you. Robin tried to calm down, his tone full of disbelief. Luo En nodded generously and continued. I know you don't really follow Crocodile, or in other words, you are not the same people. He desires power and dominates the sea, and you want to explore the lost history. Robin's expression was indescribably shocked when he was told a secret deep in his heart. As for the historical text you want to interpret, I will help you find it. No, we will help you find it, fulfill your dreams, and find the lost history. How about it? Luo En stretched out his hand sincerely, waiting for Robin's answer. Robin was so shocked that he was completely speechless. She didn't understand how the man in front of her knew all his secrets. I don't even understand why the other party wants to recruit her. Interpreting the historical text, could he also want to use her? Luo En noticed Robin's scruples, and also saw the doubtful looks on Ace and others' faces, and finally explained helplessly, Robin, the only survivor of Ohara, is called the Son of the Devil, by the world government. Of course, these are not important. What matters is your experience. Chapter 38 The 9th S-Class crew member. Then, Luo En told Robin's tragic past. From a little girl who struggled to survive in the face of being hunted down until now, how could she not be pitiful? Those damn guys in the world government. They treated the beautiful Ms. Robin like this. Robin-san. Join us. I will protect you. Sanji's brain became hot and he had no resistance in front of women. So she is so pitiful, then join my pirate group. It just so happens that there is no archaeologist in my pirate group. Luffy issued a sincere invitation. Luo En, is your kid cutting off his beard? Zoro, drag Luffy down, how dare you snatch my partner? Luo En said fiercely. It was originally his fault, but now he speaks righteously. Ooh, Zoro, don't pull me. Luffy's arm was stretched out, and Zoro was pulling him. Luffy's unwilling head stretched out, and with a swish, he stretched it out in front of Robin, inviting, I am Luffy, the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Join me, don't join them, I don't have any partners on the ship yet. Luffy, don't be so upright, Yamato, we are robbing people. Usopp said fiercely, then grabbed Luffy's neck to stop him. Luffy wasn't paying attention and the rubber rebounded. Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp collided directly into a mess. Luffy, you accidentally hurt one of your own again. Zoro was being shouted at by Luffy in the face, and his hands were trembling, ready to draw the knife. Usopp's head rushed down and hit the ground. A big bag appeared, and he said with tears in his eyes, why is it me who is injured again, woo woo woo. Luffy defended unconvinced. It was obviously you who dragged me. The three of them immediately got into a quarrel. Robin was still in deep shock. After so many years of living on the run, this is the first time I have been invited. There was a longing voice in her heart. Join them and give it a try. Robin, join us. I promise that you will not be harmed in any way, not even by marine or world government. Luo En stretched out his hand again and sincerely invited. Robin suppressed the tears in his eyes, stretched out his delicate hand, and held Luo En's palm tightly. Captain. Open black lens bracket ding. Successfully recruited S-class crew. Nico Robin. Unlocking progress. 9/10. At the same time, the system's beep sounded in Luo En's mind. It's just one step away from unlocking bonus features. Robin's addition also made everyone laugh. Nami was especially happy because she finally had a sister on board. Amidst the laughter and laughter, Crocodile slowly woke up. Ahem. Even the cough was mixed with a hint of pain. Seeing Crocodile wake up, Luo En asked everyone to leave and he wanted to talk to Crocodile alone. Who are you? Crocodile forced himself to sit up and asked with a stern face. My name is Luo En, ordinary person. This answer made Crocodile smile coldly. Ordinary people, go ahead and fool the devil. What attack was that just now? Crocodile asked again. Conqueror's haki is entangled, Luo En said without hesitation. Next, there was Crocodile's silence. Conqueror's haki is a completely unfamiliar word. Even those who have been in New World have never seen this trick. In other words, the strength he once had was not yet at this level. Crocodile laughed at himself. I didn't expect to lose to a kid, he. He suffered a setback this time, which was a heavy blow to his ambition. Failure is too embarrassing. Crocodile, do you want to conquer the New World? Luo En sat down next to Crocodile and asked softly. What do you mean? Crocodile frowned and looked at Luo En in confusion. That's the literal meaning. Go to the New World and make a name for yourself. Why bother struggling with your fate in the first half of the Grand Line? Especially Pluton, not to mention not being in Alabasta, even if he is here, if you get it, do you think the world government will sit idly by? Don't think that controlling Pluton will lead to hegemony. The power of the world government is beyond your imagination. How do you know? Crocodile was shocked. How come the guy in front of me knows all about my secret? That's not important. I need an answer from you now. Are you willing to go to the New World and make your own way? Or, do you still dare? If you don't dare, just pretend I didn't say anything. Luo En said calmly. It's a very clumsy way of provoking generals. But for Crocodile at this time, he has already lost everything, so what is there to be afraid of? He is not willing to give in. I am not willing to be immersed in failure my whole life. Ha 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 ha. Of course Lousy dares. Crocodile laughed ferociously. Luo En's words once again aroused his ambition. In this case, I can give you a chance, follow me, and I will let you get everything you want. Luo En spoke firmly, looking deeply into the distance. Follow you. Crocodile's deep gaze fell on Luo En and he looked at him repeatedly. Chapter 39 Reward Function Activated. Luo En's words made Crocodile hesitate. The pride in his heart did not allow him to surrender like this. But Luo En's mystery inevitably makes Crocodile curious. After a long silence, Crocodile took a deep breath and made up his mind. I'm willing to follow you. He didn't even ask what he could gain by following Luo En. He didn't care at all, he just made this decision. He thought about many questions in his mind, but the thing that convinced him the most was Luo En's strength. And a boatload of young but powerful monsters. They are definitely not ordinary people. Therefore, in comparison, Crocodile would rather give up his identity as Shichibukai and choose to join the Luo En team, just to make a name for himself in the New World. He knows Shichibukai's identity very well, and all the say is in the hands of the world government and Marine. Once something happens to him, Marine's blade will not be merciful. Open black lens bracket ding. Successfully recruited S-class crew. Sir Crocodile close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket bonus function activated. Close black lens bracket. The sound in his head made Luo En laugh heartily. He stood up from the ground and extended his hand. Welcome to join us. Ahem. Lousy is still injured. Crocodile reached out and held Luo En's hand. Luo En wanted to pull him up, but he pulled at Crocodile's wound, causing Crocodile to gasp in pain and cough hard. Luo En awkwardly supported Crocodile and explained. I was negligent and took good care of myself. Ace and others looked at Luo En supporting Crocodile and showed knowing expressions. Their captain would find people to board the ship wherever he went. It seems that I have one more partner. Everyone, let me introduce you to Crocodile, who will be a member of the ship from now on. Luo En introduced with a smile. Robin's face looked a little unnatural. After you changed jobs, your old boss also changed jobs. Isn't it a bit embarrassing? Ace, Zoro, Sanji. Everyone introduced one after another. When Luffy arrived, he had a troubled face and said, why do you have another partner? Can't you give me one? I want to be the Pirate King. Luffy's words made everyone laugh again. But he was definitely not laughing at him for wanting to become the Pirate King, but rather for this matter of robbing people. Lao Sha, the operation against Alabasta should be over. There is no point in targeting these ordinary people. Luo En said. I know. Crocodile nodded. Also, if your Baroque working society should be disbanded, just disband it and keep the cadres who are easy to use. The rest will not be of much use when they enter the New World, and it is not convenient to sail with too many people. I trust you, but don't trust them. Okay. Crocodile pondered slightly, then nodded. So, Robin, we will be partners from now on. Don't put any psychological pressure on me. Lao Sha is still a very good person. Come on, Lao Sha, smile kindly. Luo En took the initiative to adjust the atmosphere between Robin and Crocodile. A kind smile. The corners of Crocodile's mouth twitched fiercely. There is another important thing to announce. From now on, Crocodile will be the captain of the first team. He will select some of the previous cadres to join the Spade Pirates and form the first combat detachment of the Spade Pirates. For the first team, my plan is to wait until the new world and let Lao Sha lead people to develop their power. After all, you are the best at this and should be able to do better than us. Luo En revealed his plan. He recruited Crocodile to prepare for the new world. A powerful force is not just a pirate group. What is needed is countless affiliated forces. The sum of strength makes more. No matter how small a fly is, it is still meat. Crocodile was stunned. Was he entrusted with an important task as soon as he boarded the ship? First team captain. Do you trust Laozi that much? Lao Sha, don't be stressed. You rest first. I will tell you about the situation on the ship as soon as possible. Luo En patted Croak Daughter on the shoulder to show encouragement. The corners of Crocodile's mouth twitched, and he didn't know what to say for a moment. There are even some doubts about whether joining the Spade Pirates is right or wrong. In the end, Crocodile only had 3 cadres left, Mr. 1, Mr. 2 and Mr. 3. In fact, he only wanted Mr. 1, and it was Luo En who persuaded him to let the 2 of them stay. At the same time, the Baroque working society was completely dissolved. A crisis that enveloped Alabasta was lifted. After taking a rest, everyone set off on the pirate ship. This time, there were 5 more people on board. Soon after, Luo En introduced the Universal Training Chamber to Crocodile and Robin. Then the 2 of them walked in confused. Crocodile's injury has not healed yet, Luo En just wants to familiarize him with it, and is curious about the effect of the reward function. After all, after activation, there is no movement. An hour later, Crocodile walked out with a shocked expression. He experienced incredible things inside. Not only was the injury completely repaired, but there was something even more confusing. His Devil Fruit ability evolved. Chapter 40 Sand Fruit evolves. What's wrong? Lao Sha. Luo En noticed something strange about Crocodile and immediately asked with concern. On the other side, Robin also walked out. There are only 2 portals in the Universal Training Warehouse, so the upper limit of the number of people who can practice every day is only 48 people. 48 people, it's scary to think about it. It's amazing. Robin suppressed the shock in his heart. Only by experiencing it can you feel the feeling of time accelerating. You are obviously getting stronger, but your own state has not changed at all. Did nothing happen to you? Luo En turned around and asked. No, it's just different from normal practice. Robin explained doubtfully. So, Luo En looked at Crocodile and couldn't help but ask, what happened? Your injury seems to be healed. Crocodile took a deep breath from his cigar, sorted out his chaotic thoughts, and then said slowly, after I went in, I was unexpectedly treated, and then the voice reminded me that Sand Fruit's ability had changed. Ability changed. Tell me in detail. Luo En suddenly became interested. Presumably, this is the effect of the bonus function. But he was also confused, why did Crocodile change but not Robin? Or is Robin hiding himself? My Devil Fruit ability seems to have a powerful ability, devouring. Crocodile said in confusion. He didn't even think that Devil Fruit's abilities could change. The movement here attracted Ace, Luffy and others, and they all got better. Can Devil Fruit still change? Ace said he didn't understand. No way, our practice is just to speed up time. Sanji said confused. Crocodile formed a ball of sand in his hand. The feeling of gravel at this time is very different from before. It was dry yellow before, but now it is dark gold, shining with a faint luster. Originally, Sand Fruit's ability can absorb the surrounding water, even the water in the human body. But now, that ability has greatly increased, and it can even be said to be swallowing. Crocodile introduced with a solemn expression. Swallow. Let me feel it, Luo En said immediately. There were no obvious hints on his own panel, so he was even more curious. You can haunt armament hockey. Crocodile reminded. Hearing this, Luo En was not polite, stretched out his arm, wrapped a layer of armament hockey with deep luster, and signaled that Crocodile can start. Crocodile controlled the dark golden gravel to wrap around Luo En's arm. Luo En's expression suddenly changed. He felt a strong suction swallowing up the moisture in his arm. Moreover, even armament hockey cannot resist that power. In just a few breaths, Crocodile removes the gravel. However, the revealing scene surprised everyone. Luo En's arms have shrunk in size, and the skin has become wrinkled, as if all the moisture has been evaporated. What a powerful ability! Luo En exclaimed with bright eyes. The swallowing ability of the gravel has become stronger, and it can be said to be all-pervasive. Sharp weapon. Why did Luo En's arm become like this? Luffy exclaimed. It looks like it has been drained of water, but Luo En clearly covered armament hockey just now, how could it still be like this? Ace frowned, very puzzled. Crocodile explained. This is the ability of the current gravel. Even armament hockey cannot stop this devouring power of absorbing water, so. That's why Laozi is so confused. Seeing them like this, Crocodile knew that it was probably the first time for Luo En to experience this kind of thing, and he felt even more helpless. Why did this happen to me? Unexpectedly, Luo En comforted him in the next second, it's okay. This is equivalent to the fruit's ability evolving, which is a good thing. Don't worry too much. Luo En's words could not answer Crocodile's doubts at all. He continued to ask, what is going on? What is the principle of the training warehouse, and why can it be like this? Unbelievable. A fantasy. Luo En just kept a mysterious smile. Science can't be explained. You won't understand even if I tell you. I'm just reminding you that maybe after you enter, you may also receive such a little surprise. Little surprise. This is simply a huge shock. Crocodile looked helpless. Luo En put it really lightly. Others will get the point, though. Ace's eyes lit up. You mean, we might also get a chance to evolve from fruits? Really? What's going to happen to my rubber fruit? Luffy became excited. Luo En said silently in his heart, your rubber fruit will become the sun god. At this moment, Robin frowned and said, but why hasn't my fruit ability changed? Maybe it's luck. Don't pay too much attention to it. There will be many opportunities in the future. Luo En comforted with a smile, but there was a murmur in his heart. System, why did Crocodile's fruit ability change, but Robin's didn't? Chapter 41 Luo En's sense of crisis. Only S-class crew members can receive one reward, and their strength must reach the Rear Admiral standard. Luo En breathed a sigh of relief at the systematic answer in his mind. After working on it for a long time, it turns out that this is what happened. I almost misunderstood Robin. Seeing the evolution of the crocodile fruit's ability, Ace's heart was filled with fire, but unfortunately, he had used up all his training indicators today. Not only Ace, but everyone in the original Spade Pirates team has used it up. Luo En asked Mr. 1 and 3 people to take turns training. It's just idle time anyway, so you might as well make use of it. The current strength of these 3 people has not reached the level of feedback to Luo En. This shows that they are not only weak in strength, but also have insufficient potential. But at least he can help Crocodile, because after entering the new world, Luo En plans to let Crocodile go out and develop alone, and there must be trustworthy people around him. At the same time, Luo En's panel quietly changed. Open black lens bracket host. Luo En close black lens bracket. Pirates. Spades Pirates. Crew. Gall D. Ace. Monkey D. Luffy. Roronoa Zoro. Usopp. Nami. Sanji. Dory Giant. Brigi Giant Robin. Crocodile. Ability. Open black lens bracket Logia Mera Mera Fruit close black lens bracket. Ren Fruit Phantom Beast Species Nika Form Unawakened. Open black lens bracket Logia Sand Fruit Dark Gold Swallowing Sand close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Paramesha Flower Fruit close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Conqueror's Hockey LV7 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Amament Hockey LV8 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Observation Hockey LV6 close black lens bracket. Taijutsu LV9. Swordsmanship LV6. Strengthening 6 forms LV6. Kicking skills, sniping skills, cooking skills, navigation skills. Open black lens bracket Strength. Admiral close black lens bracket. The most noticeable change is Sand Fruit. The status has changed to Dark Gold Devouring Sand. Compared with the original Sand Fruit, it has more powerful and pervert abilities. Moreover, the reward function is issued based on the standard that the strength reaches the general level, even the Rear Admiral is enough. Crocodile's strength clearly meets the requirements. And now Crocodile's panel strength is that of Admiral's candidate. Even so, after the sum of strengths, Luo En's strength still failed to break through further. This is a pity for Luo En. With his current strength, if he wants to break through to the monster level, it is necessary to reach LV10 in physical skills. At the same time, Conqueror's Hockey must also be greatly improved. He is only beginning to dominate now, but it is far from enough. However, only Luffy and Ace who can give him Conqueror's Hockey feedback have room for improvement. Dory and Brigi will have difficulty improving if they don't use the Universal Training Chamber. Secondly, the weapon color, knowledge color, etc. all need to be improved. Rubber Fruit hasn't awakened yet. There is a long way to go. It is worth mentioning that even after Crocodile's strength skyrocketed, there was no descent. He was completely impressed by Luo En's methods. He can't afford to offend a monster that can even evolve into Devil Fruit. Just be the younger brother. Anyway, the other person talks about Laosha, which is quite pleasant to the ears. Luo En was making his own calculations. The strength of Laosha and Ace in the entire ship has reached the reward requirements. It depends on what blind box Ace can open tomorrow. Along with sailing, the day passed quickly. Wait until the next day for normal training to begin. Because the limit for entering the training warehouse is 24 hours, it is not calculated by time. In other words, if you enter at 9 o'clock this time, you must enter after 9 o'clock the next day next time. The first people to enter the training chamber were Usopp and Zoro. An hour later, the two of them walked out disappointed. It was no different from normal training. Luffy, Nami, still so. Seeing their dissatisfied looks, Luo En couldn't help but said, don't be too fanciful. How many people dream of the Universal Cultivation Warehouse to speed up their cultivation? Are you still not satisfied? If you continue like this, your mentality will be changed sooner or later. Something's wrong. The universal training warehouse is for you to increase your strength and keep your feet on the ground. It is not to reach the sky in one step. You have this kind of mentality. You can't become a strong person at all. Everyone, the use of the training warehouse will be suspended starting tomorrow. Luo En was completely irritated by their attitude and scolded them severely. The universal training warehouse has indeed changed their mentality. The guys who were severely scolded all lowered their heads in shame. Crocodile looked at Luo En and then at the universal training warehouse with a look of helplessness. The fire at the city gate affects the fish in the pond. Lousy has only been used for one day and is about to be deactivated. We know we were wrong. Nami and the others admitted their mistakes honestly. You should reflect carefully. Ace, Sanji, you go in and continue today's practice. Luo En said with a cold face. As expected, Ace will receive a reward, but Luo En will continue with today's practice. But tomorrow, Luo En will never open the training warehouse. Everyone, you have to give it a good beating. Moreover, the journey was too smooth without any setbacks, which is not a good thing. Ace and Sanji enter. After an hour, Sanji walked out first, training as usual, nothing changed. After that, Ace rushed out, rushed to Luo En, hugged Luo En, and laughed excitedly. Luo En. Mera Mera Fruit's ability has evolved. Chapter 42 Mera Mera Fruit evolves. Mera Mera Fruit evolves. Ace's excited laughter brought everyone together once again. Huh, Ace. Why did your fruit ability evolve? Luffy asked with a dumbfounded look on his face. Usopp looked at Ace curiously. Come and see, what has become of him? Crocodile stood silent. Another fruit evolution. Is it a coincidence? Or are there any specific conditions? What on earth is going on in that universal training warehouse? What about Luo En's devil fruit? Yesterday, Luo En showed off his abilities a little, using fire and dark gold to swallow the sand, which really confused Crocodile. This is the first time I heard about copying fruits. The more people come into contact with Luo En, the more mysterious Luo En becomes in Crocodile's eyes. Let go, everyone is waiting for you to speak. Luo En reminded Ace, pushing away his arms. Ace then let go of his hand, with uncontrollable excitement in his eyes, and a wisp of fire danced on his fingers. The moment the flame appears, the surrounding temperature rises instantly. The scorching temperature was several times stronger than the previous flame. The flames were fiery red before, but now they are bright gold. Golden flame. It's so hot, so hot, so hot. Luffy waved his hand and backed away because he was too close. Crocodile narrowed his eyes and looked at the flame carefully, his expression gradually becoming serious. Ace's flame has become different. The temperature is getting hotter. Zoro murmured seriously. Sanji was very surprised. Why has Ace's fruit ability evolved? Could it be that the universal training chamber can only improve devil fruit? Ace's flames have become so terrifying. It feels even scarier than the temperature of magma. Usopp looked envious. Everyone is so strong. Ace explained seriously. For some reason, the ability of Mera Mera fruit changed after entering. Not only did the temperature become higher, but it even incorporated an extremely strong explosive ability. The power of the flames now is definitely better than before. Several times, it's hard to say exactly. Flame evolution. Explosive ability. With this upgrade, Ace's strength comes to the Admiral alternate, which is at the same strength as Crocodile. I believe that soon, the two of them will be able to break through the Admiral's strength. Luo En suddenly felt that the future was bright. As expected, Ace has become much stronger now. Damn it, I will definitely surpass Ace. And Luo En. Luffy waved his fist and said with confidence. He is the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Nami asked suspiciously, does this kind of improvement require demon fruit power? To be honest, she also wanted to become stronger. After this period of time, everyone gradually became stronger and their talents gradually emerged. Everyone is very strong and is getting stronger. Of course, Nami also wants to have strength. Yes, if that's the case, shouldn't we look for devil fruit? Usopp said expectantly. If he could, he would also like to become an Esper. No need to make random guesses. Just feel free to improve your strength. When your strength reaches a certain level, you will receive additional rewards, which are not limited to demon fruit power. Luo En explained to everyone. So that's it, the strength is still too weak. Zoro muttered thoughtfully, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Zoro's strength reaches the level of a senior colonel, and he will be able to trigger rewards soon. Clock's sand, Ace's flame, how on earth was this universal training chamber created? Sanji looked confused. He said. Not only could he not understand Luo En's fruit ability, but he could not understand the universal training warehouse. Science, science, Luo En said with a smile. There is no way to delve into this kind of problem, and it always passes vaguely. Okay, don't worry, everyone, just practice seriously. Lao Sha, come to me after you finish practicing and discuss the plan after arriving in New World. Luo En said. The New World is a mixed bag, with various forces intertwined, including not only marines and pirates, but also various other forces. Okay, Crocodile agreed. He is becoming more and more full of longing for the New World. With his current strength, he will definitely not be in the same situation as before. The Spade Pirates are thriving. Naval Headquarters. Marineford, an organization directly under the world government, maintains law and order on the world's oceans in the name of absolute justice. The huge castle building like a seagull stands tall on the sea, majestic hockey. Marshal's office. Sengoku, who was wearing braided braids, stared at Garp in front of him with an unkind expression, and asked in a deep voice, Garp, what did you do in East Blue? Did you do the disappearance of Crocodile? Garp looked indifferent. He was about to retort, but suddenly he was stunned and said in surprise, the crocodile is missing. Shichibukai's crocodile. Crocodile is missing. But he just taught those boys a lesson and ignored Crocodile at all. Hey, Sengoku, don't talk nonsense. How could I take action against Crocodile? His disappearance has nothing to do with me. Garp said with great momentum. If this topic comes up, he is not unreasonable at all. If you are upright, you are not afraid of the shadows being crooked. Crocodile's disappearance indeed has nothing to do with Garp. But it has something to do with his grandson. Chapter 43 Luo En exposed. But no matter what happened, Garp would not admit it. The soldier said that you encountered a group of pirates in Logue Town. Where are they? Sengoku asked slowly. Garp picked his nose and said carelessly, the slippery pirate actually ran away from me. I'm really angry. Ran. Sengoku was stunned. You are a majestic marine hero, not to mention your battle prowess. Now you say that a pirate escaped from you in East Blue. What nonsense are you talking about? Garp, do you want to listen to what you are saying? Sengoku said angrily. Sitting aside, Aokiji looked at his nose with his eyes, his nose with his heart, and he didn't say much. But he had a new definition of the pirates in his heart. He really ran away. There's nothing I can do about it. Garp looked stubborn. Even if Sengoku had a guess, he would not admit it at all. Of course, Sengoku definitely had a guess. Even if Garp didn't admit it, he was still paying attention to the pirates. Also, not only was Shichibukai Crocodile missing, but the Arlong gang in East Blue was solved by a group of pirates. News came from Mobi Sanya. The wanted Luo En was among that group of pirates, and among this group of pirates there is also a Logia user who can use fire. Even Colonel Mouse was killed by these pirates. Sengoku said slowly with a solemn expression. What an arrogant pirate. Didn't Mobi Sanya catch Luo En? Kizaru crossed his legs and asked casually. In this room, besides Kizaru, there is also Staff Officer Suru. Akainu seems to be still out on missions. He is indeed a model worker at Marine and rarely has time to rest. Sengoku, Garp, Suru, Aokiji, Kizaru. These 5 people are almost the highest authority of Marine. Still got away. Mobisanya didn't catch the other party. Sengoku said in a deep voice, frowning slightly. Even Mobi Sanya failed. These guys are not simple. Kizaru smacked his lips and sighed. There are pirates in East Blue who can escape from the hands of Vice Admiral. It's really surprising. Thinking of this, Kizaru added, Luo En is the most wanted target of celestial dragons. Do you want to increase the intensity of the pursuit? Luo En is wanted, but he is directly related to celestial dragons. It is an order issued by the world government. Sengoku tapped his fingers on the table, his eyes flashing with sharp light. Luo En is just an ordinary person. I didn't expect him to run away for so long. But he can't make any trouble, so don't worry, Marine needs it right now. During the manpower shortage, the inspection team established in Gion received news from North Blue that the commander of the G7 branch was colluding with pirates and taking bribes. In the eyes of corruption and bribery, the branch generals were all a bunch of worms. Now she was feeling in trouble and asked for support from the headquarters. Russelino, go and clean out the entire branch. Even if it is re-established, we will not allow them to collude with the pirates and become the scum of Marine. Kizaru was obviously taken aback and said in surprise, the situation in North Blue is already so serious. North Blue is so far away. Sengoku dispatched his admiral at this time, and the situation must have reached a point where Gion could not control it. Let's go immediately. Sengoku ordered Kizaru. Then he said, the new 4 emperors of the New World, Shanks, are also expanding their territory. There are more and more members in the large fleet under his command, and their sphere of influence is no longer weaker than that of Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom. Aokiji, you led an army troops, find a way to cut off Shanks' expansion minions, and if he is allowed to continue, the threat to Marine will become greater and greater. Shanks. It has only been more than 3 years since Shanks became 4 emperors, so it is normal for them to be in a state of development. Aokiji frowned and nodded. 4 emperors Shanks, so tricky. Red hair. I'll take care of this. Upon hearing the red-haired Shanks, Garp immediately became energetic and directly took on this task. Garp's teeth itched with hatred when he thought of the devil fruit that Shanks gave Luffy. Just take this opportunity to teach Shanks a lesson. Sengoku paused with his fingers and looked at Garp in disbelief. You want to deal with it? What? You don't believe me, the Vice Admiral? Garp said with a beard and a glare. What a change of temper. Sengoku muttered, but did not forget to warn. Then I'll leave this matter to you. Don't let me mess around. This is an important matter. Don't worry. Garp waved his hand. Then Kuzan goes to investigate the cause of Crocodile's disappearance. Sengoku also assigned a task to Aokiji. One of the dignified Shichibukai disappeared when he was said to be missing. Understood. Aokiji stood up and responded. After Garp, Kizaru and Aokiji left the office. Sengoku looked at Staff Officer Crane, frowned and asked, "What do you think about Logue Town?" Staff Officer he took out several portraits and placed them on the desk in front of Sengoku. According to the descriptions of the soldiers, the group that attacked Arlong are the same group of pirates that appeared in Logue Town. After conducting an investigation from the Mobi Sanya soldiers, Officer he then investigated Marine in Logue Town. In the photos sent back by the two parties, Ace, Luffy, and Luo En were particularly conspicuous. The reason why Officer he investigated was because after the incident involving Arlong and his gang, there was an incident in Logue Town, which was obviously the result of sailing according to the route. Chapter 44 Luffy. I saw too many breasts. Huh, a group of people. Sengoku took the photos and looked at them. The most obvious ones are Ace and Luffy. Ace was able to resist Mobi Sanya by himself, which impressed the soldiers deeply. Backhand in Logue Town, Ace and Luffy were taught a lesson by Garp again, and the soldiers saw it. Although they were later knocked unconscious by Conqueror's Haki, it did not affect their memories. As for Luo En, it is also a high-profile bag. Against Mobi Sanya, Luo En commanded the battle. Logue Town, he stood with Ace and Luffy again. How could it not be remembered? It seems that Luo En has joined this pirate group, a brat with fire abilities. I really don't know what Garp is up to. Sengoku shouted with raised eyebrows. Will Garp's strength allow these brats to run away? The entire sea is filled with water released by Garp. Don't worry, Garp won't mess around. Let Mobisanya deal with Luo En as soon as possible. The celestial dragons are still waiting for the results. Staff he explained to Garp. Sengoku originally had no intention of holding Garp accountable. He followed the words of Staff he and said, Celestial dragons does take this matter very seriously. Especially Luo En is the guy who escaped from Buster Call. Let's execute him as soon as possible. Luo En could not have imagined that after such a long time, his crime had not been alleviated, but instead he had been taken more seriously. The next 7 days of sailing were spent. The Spade Pirates arrive in Demon Valley Town. Gaia Island, Magic Valley Town, and Sky Island, Sky Pie, at an altitude of 10,000 meters are originally the same island, shaped like a skull. Due to the upwelling currents near the sea, half of Gaia Island was washed up into the sky 400 years ago, along with the indigenous people, animals, and historical monuments. The parts that shot up into the sky were the skull's head and face, while the parts that stayed on the ground were the skeleton's teeth. Luo En's purpose is naturally to land on Sky Island. Thunder Fruit, known as the strongest Logia, is in the hands of Enel and is one of Luo En's targets. Secondly, for Sky Island's gold. To be honest, the Spade Pirates are short of money. Finally, we caught up with the monster ocean current and successfully reached the sky. Even with a very low survival rate, we still successfully arrived at Sky Island. Wow, an island in the sky. There are clouds all around. Luffy laughed excitedly. Adventure is his favorite thing. But he neglected one thing, and that was to follow Luo En and complete all the adventures he should have taken. Maybe by the time Luffy finds out, it will be too late. Yeah, Luffy, do you want your life? This is 10,000 meters high. If you fall, it will be over. Usopp looked at Luffy who was running out and shouted quickly. Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished speaking, Luffy fell directly into the clouds and fell rapidly. Luffy. Ace's expression changed drastically. This kid is simply desperate. Seeing this, Luo En used his rubber power to fish Luffy up with a look of helplessness. Luffy, are you okay? Wake up quickly. Everyone gathered around, looked at the confused Luffy, and shouted anxiously. Chopper, come and see him. Nami picked up Chopper and rushed over. Chopper, after Luo En left Prehistoric Island, he went to Sugu Island to lead him onto the ship. Chopper, who is in the form of fruit for everyone and common man, is an extremely reliable partner as a doctor. When he turns on the battle form, he can fight hundreds of millions of dollars in bounties. It's okay, it's just a lack of oxygen. After checking, Chopper breathed a sigh of relief. Luffy woke up leisurely, and the first words he said when he opened his eyes in a daze were, I just dreamed that I was so breastful. Puff. Everyone fell down. Even Luo En covered his face, looking dumbfounded. Everyone was drifting on the clouds. What happened to Luffy just now reminded everyone that no one dared to get off the boat and set foot on the clouds. It was not like they had seen Tainai. It didn't take long before we reached land. Luo En looked at the unfamiliar scenery around him and was confused. Sky Island is complicated, and it seems that we can only explore it a little bit from now on. Let's go. Let's take a look separately. Remember, the main goal is to find the Golden Land. If you encounter an enemy, find a way to send a signal as soon as possible. Luo En warned. Clear. New. Sky Island, here I come. Luffy rushed inside happily. Hey, Luffy, wait for me. Usopp chased after him. He, they are really in high spirits. Robin covered his mouth and laughed, and also got off the boat. After Zoro took a look, he walked in the other direction, muttering, then I'll just go here. Wait. Luo En saw this and immediately shouted. Zoro, you must find someone to go with you, otherwise I am afraid you will get lost. Zoro, if you just say that I'm a crazy person, won't it be over? Lousy doesn't want to lose face. Green algae head, big road idiot. Sanji said scornfully from the side. Smelly cook. What did you say? Zoro was angry, rolled up his sleeves and wanted to fight. Okay, okay, let's go find the gold first, and we'll talk about the duel when we get back. Luo En stopped him helplessly. As there were more people on board, it became increasingly uneasy. Zoro and Sanji looked at each other, turned their backs to each other and walked away. Chapter 45 Thor, Enel. Luo En saw this and gave Ace a wink. Ace understood and immediately caught up with Zoro. There's no way, Zoro really gets lost. Robin, Nami and others all set off one after another, full of curiosity about this Sky Island. Lao Sha, aren't you getting off the boat? Luo En looked at Crocodile who was motionless and greeted him. Crocodile waved his hand and said, everyone has left, what will happen to the ship? Lousy stays. Justice. Luo En gave a thumbs up gesture and then said nothing. Crocodile twitched the corner of his mouth. Luo En has never been polite. A group of uninvited guests split up to explore aimlessly on Sky Island. However, this alarmed the controller of Sky Island. Thor. Enel, Thunder Fruit owner. He sent his 4 god-tier officers to hunt unruly intruders. A coming smoke storm is about to spread across Sky Island. Soon after. The trial of the ball. Trial of the swamp. The trial of the rope. The trial of iron. Welcoming their enemies one after another. Ace, Zoro, Luffy, Usopp, Chopper, Sanji, Luo En and 3 cadres under Lao Sha. The battle doesn't need much description, it's just a one-sided battle. The 4th god-tier officer poses no threat to anyone at all. The other side. Thunder God's Palace. Enel stood up with a relaxed expression, a disdainful smile on his lips. What a waste, you can't even deal with the intruders. It seems that in the end this survival game will have to be taken action by Lousy himself. Who should start first? Have you found the ruins? Let's start with you first. The murmurs slowly dispersed, and in the flash of lightning, Enel's figure disappeared from the spot. Gaia Island. It is the location of the Golden Country, which is called a ruin on Sky Island. The gold here has been used by Enel to build the Ark Proverbs over the years, and a lot of it has been used up. At this time, the island washed up on Sky Island by sea currents was already in dilapidated condition. As if destined, Robin found the historical text. What Luo En said is true, there really is a historical text here. Wait, this line. One Piece Roger. Robin looked at the history text and was stunned for a while. Pirate King Roger also arrived here. Did you also leave text on the stone tablet of the historical text? Robin, what does it say? Nami, who was with Robin, asked curiously at this time. It is recorded above. As soon as Robin spoke, he was interrupted by sudden laughter. Yeah ha ha ha. An intruder who doesn't follow the rules actually knows the words on this. On the stone tablet, a man with a bare upper body and extremely long earlobes appeared. Holding a golden stick, he pointed at Robin and Nami arrogantly. When did it appear? Nami and Robin stared at the man who suddenly appeared, their expressions full of wariness. Who are you? Robin asked aloud, ready for battle. Enel had a lazy smile on his face, full of disdain, and said in judgment, the rude guys who broke into God's territory cannot escape God's punishment. Lousy is the god of Sky Island. Yeah ha ha ha. The arrogant laughter echoed throughout the ruins, making Robin's pretty face turn completely cold. In this case, there seems to be nothing to say. If you are an enemy, then fight. Dazzling flowers. Robin put his hands into a pose, and a series of connected arms appeared on the ground, forming an extremely powerful arm that took shape in an instant and struck Enel. Nami didn't hesitate. He took out the flare from the scale on his chest and fired it into the sky. Luo En said that when encountering an enemy, send a signal first. Ba. Bright red flares exploded in the sky. The moment everyone in the Spade Pirates saw the signal, they all sprinted in one direction. I just said we should go in that direction. Zoro finally toughened up and said to Ace beside him. Ace helplessly raised his forehead and admitted. Okay, I was wrong. Go and have a look. The two set off at full speed. Luffy, Sanji and others were walking through the ancient giant forest, slowly approaching. When I met those priests before, they didn't use signal flares at all. Problem occurs. Luo En looked at the exploding flares in the sky, paused in his steps, and rushed out like the wind the next second. Behind him, 3 figures followed closely. Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3. Captain Luo En, wait for us, Mr. 3 chased desperately, but Luo En disappeared in the blink of an eye. Since the flare was triggered, it meant that the situation was definitely not good, and Luo En was in no mood to waste time. Moreover, Luo En already had some guesses in his mind. There is only one person in the entire Sky Island who can make everyone sound the signal flare. Enel, especially since it will never be Ace and Luffy who sound the signal, it is still a bit dangerous for others to encounter Enel. Thinking of this, Luo En's speed became even faster. Chapter 46 The Disaster of Robin and Nami. In an instant, the giant hand formed fell down, and a look of sarcasm appeared in Enel's eyes. His body flashed with azure light. When the giant hand fell, it transformed into countless thunder and lightning, floating around, and easily dodged the attack. Logia ability user. Robin was shocked. Before she could react, lightning gathered behind her, and the voice of judgment sounded. The only outcome for attacking God is death. Enel's figure regrouped, and the golden stick in his hand was wrapped with thunder and lightning, and he smashed it down hard. Asshole. Stay away from Robin. After Nami in the distance had sent out the signal flare, she had already taken out the weather stick that Usopp had made for her. Circles of thunderclouds condensed, and a bolt of lightning was summoned by her and fell on Enel's body. Unfortunately, Enel didn't dodge at all. The golden stick wrapped with lightning in his hand hit Robin hard on the back. Even at the critical moment, Robin summoned a layer of interconnected arms to protect his back, but he was still whipped away. Especially the all-pervasive thunder and lightning made Robin's whole body numb and his hair messy. The layer of arms behind her were all destroyed by lightning, and even the clothes on her back were torn to pieces. The smooth back was burned by lightning, and the flesh and blood were black and blurred. Robin. Nami was shocked. The opponent hit Robin hard as soon as he came up. Damn it, and the thunder and lightning she just summoned had no effect on Enel at all. Nami was immediately confused. Only then did she realize how at ease she felt being with Luo En and the others. If they were there, she would never be in this powerless situation now. Nami felt that she was weak, but the expression on her face became determined, even with a hint of sternness. Enel slowly raised his arm and pointed it at Robin. Strong thunder and lightning were gathering, and he was about to launch a powerful blow. Stop. Don't hurt her. Nami gritted his teeth and roared. The weather rod controlled the thunderclouds to condense, forming a thicker thunderbolt that rushed towards Enel, like a silver snake dancing randomly. Enel paused and turned to look at Nami, his eyes full of contempt. Yeah ha ha ha. Use thunder and lightning in front of lousy. Is there any lightning stronger than thunder fruit? The thunder and lightning condensed on Enel's arm, ready to attack Robin, rushed out towards Nami, roaring with momentum, much more powerful than Nami's thunder and lightning. Robin stood up with support, feeling warm in his heart. He hadn't felt this protected for a long time. Nami's actions just now made Robin's heart not suddenly untie. It turns out that she already has a partner she can rely on. Nami. Be careful, he is a Logia user. Use armed colors. Robin shouted anxiously, summoning a long arm chain around Nami, grabbing Nami's arm and dodging aside. However, it's still a little slow. The two thunderbolts collided, erupting with a violent roar. Enel's attack tore through Nami's thunderbolts in an instant, filled with chaotic hissing sounds, and quickly magnified in Nami's pupils. After hearing Robin's reminder, Nami evacuated and armament hockey silently covered her body. It was too late to dodge. Robin controlled his arm to pull Nami away, but the speed of lightning could not be underestimated, and it still hit Nami's shoulder. It was like a cannonball that exploded with full force, exploding with a bang. Although Nami covered armament hockey and the lightning caused no damage for the time being, the strong impact was completely beyond her body's ability to resist. Not only was she knocked away instantly, the shock to her internal organs made her spit out a mouthful of blood. The arm that Robin summoned was directly broken. Bang. Nami hit the tree trunk hard. Her pretty face was full of pain, but she still murmured, Robin, run, leave me alone, run. Nami's childhood experience was tragic, but when she learned about Robin's experience, her sympathy for Robin was even greater than her own. After all, he still has Nuochagao as his companion, and Arlong is just using him, so his life is not worried for the time being. And what about Robin? Since childhood, he has faced endless pursuits and been listed as an important criminal by the world government. How can the suffering he has endured for so many years be explained clearly in a few words? Nami could really feel Robin's pain. She couldn't bear it and felt pity in her heart. Even though she was not strong, she still wanted to protect her friends around her. At this moment, she was finally no longer timid or cowardly. Robin saw Nami's mouth shape clearly, and tears instantly blurred his eyes. The other party sacrificed his life to save her. The feelings in my heart were completely indescribable, and even the tears fell uncontrollably. Enel became murderous and fired a powerful thunderbolt from his arm towards the sky. God's judgment. He wants to kill Nami. No. Robin crossed his arms in front of him and summoned his arms again. Dazzling 100 flowers shield. As Robin shouted, a series of intertwined arms appeared around Nami, connected layer by layer, forming a large oval-shaped cocoon, firmly protecting Nami within it. Moreover, a layer of dark shiny substance appeared on each arm. Armament hockey. Chapter 47 The Moment of Life and Death. Robin couldn't care less about anything at this moment and wanted to protect Nami. The protective shield formed by armament hockey combined with flower fruit's ability firmly protects Nami. Boom. The exploding thunderbolt slid down and hit the cocoon directly. The strong power instantly melted the ancient tree in the sky. The ground was even more covered in mud and scorched. Only the big cocoon gave Nami the most reassuring protection amidst the raging thunder and lightning. The thunder and lightning of God's judgment slowly dissipated. The cocoon completely blocked the attack, leaving Nami unharmed. Huh, didn't it break? The smile on Enel's mouth slowly faded, and he turned to look at Robin with cold eyes, and said in a cold voice, since you are so anxious to die, then I will help you. Dare to hinder God's attack. Must be punished by God. Enel struck the thunder drum with the golden stick in his hand, summoning the stored thunder and lightning, forming a thunderbird with raging thunder and lightning. The smile at the corner of his mouth turned cruel, and he whispered. 30 million volts thunderbird. 30 million volts of lightning condensed into thunderbirds, and a roaring tsunami rushed towards Robin. Robin was already injured, and the method of protecting Nami just now consumed a lot of energy. At this moment, he could no longer support himself and staggered to the ground. It had only been a week since Robin had been on the ship. In the meantime, everyone was punished by Luo En. She didn't use the universal training chamber for 3 whole days, so her actual training days were only 4 days and 2 months. And she doesn't spend all her time practicing armament hockey. Her armament hockey is not very strong. In the defense just now, Robin released all her hockey. As a result, she was now unable to resist the oncoming thunder and lightning. Thank you all. Tears fell from the corners of Robin's eyes, and she slowly closed her eyes, with a happy and relieved smile on her lips. Fate is such a trick, you already have a partner around you, but you can't enjoy that kind of peaceful time. Bye now, Nami, Luo En, everyone. Robin gave up all hope and was willing to wait for death. Get the F*K out of here. A roar of suppressed anger came, like the sound of thunder from the 9 heavens, exploding in Enel's ears. Who? Enel looked stunned, staring at the flaming figure rushing out from the side with wide eyes, his face full of confusion. Who is this guy? Fire punch. Endless flames gathered behind the figure, forming a huge fire fist that suddenly fell. After the evolution of Ace's flame, it has become explosive red flame. However, this figure is not Ace, but Luo En. The fire fist bursting with red flames shot out halfway, instantly defeating the Thunderbird that attacked Robin. 30 million volts. In front of Luo En, who took action with anger, he was nothing. The scattered thunder and lightning were directly annihilated by the scorching golden flames. Phew. The hot air waves spread, causing Enel's brows to frown deeply. When did this guy show up? Why didn't he feel it at all? Luo En's figure stopped, his eyes filled with evil spirits. Robin slowly opened her eyes, and after seeing clearly the figure in front of her who was blocking the attack for her, tears blurred her vision again. In the distance, flower fruit's power dissipated, and Nami's figure was revealed. There was obvious panic and anxiety on her face. It wasn't until she saw Luo En and Robin behind Luo En that she completely relaxed, but fear lingered around her. If Luo En didn't arrive in time, would Robin? Luo En. With Nami's cry, she couldn't hold back her tears anymore. It turns out that Luo En felt so at ease when he was around, and had the strongest and warmest support. Brush brush brush. Several figures rushed from all directions. Ace, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, and Chopper arrived. Nami, Robin. Ace's expression changed drastically. I didn't expect the situation on the battlefield to be so bad. Zoro drew the sword directly, armament hockey wrapped around the blade, and pointed the blade directly at Enel, his face extremely gloomy. Nami-san, are you okay? Sanji suppressed his anger, leaned over and asked worriedly. I'm fine, go find Robin quickly, she's injured. Nami urged with a cry. Robin protected her very well. Sanji's face turned gloomy again, with blazing anger in his eyes. How dare you hurt the 2 ladies on their boat? Unforgivable. Robin, I'll bandage your wound right away. Luffy, Chopper, and Usopp happened to come out from the direction of Robin. Chopper immediately ran to Robin and applied medicine to her injured back to stop the bleeding. Luffy's whole aura changed. He stared at Enel with sharp eyes and walked forward step by step. Although they are not a pirate group, Luffy recognizes these friends in his heart. Now that my friend has been hurt, do I need to say more about his actions? Ace's arm was bursting with red flames. People from all directions surrounded Enel, and the aura of each person set alarm bells ringing in Enel's heart. What the hell are these people? Especially the aura released by the figure that appeared first made Enel feel a faint fear in his heart. Luo En changed his usual smiling look, and his calm eyes were filled with unprecedented indifference, which was the look of a dead person. After he blocked the attack, he turned around and saw Robin with a look of death but relief. That's a sign of being prepared for death. At that moment, Luo En's heart clenched violently. When he looked up at Nami, he was also crying, with visible panic on his face and lingering fear in his eyes. So, what would have happened if it had been a step too late? Luo En couldn't imagine it. He just knew that a shackle in his heart was completely released. Since time travel, he has never been so unable to control his emotions. The murderous intention spread uncontrollably. Chapter 48 Ultimate's murderous intention. Enel breaks the defense, asking for flowers and evaluation votes. The biting cold murderous intent made Enel feel like he had fallen into an ice cave. Logically speaking, the withdrawal and death of the members on the ship will not affect the forces that have already sued for peace, not to mention that after only a few days of getting along, Luo En would not have such a big reaction. But at that moment, Luo En seemed to understand what bondage was. It's like saying that if he is really caught by Marine now, he will be executed. Then everyone will definitely save him at all costs. Including Luffy. This is something beyond words. Luo En's emotional touch also means that he has found a sense of belonging in the world of pirates. That means, Enel has to pay the price. Yeah ha ha ha. Everyone is here. Then, this survival game should be over. Are you ready to accept God's judgment? Enel looked around and laughed with cold eyes. He hit the thunder drum with the golden stick in his hand, and a large amount of thunder and lightning was released from it, surrounding him. So what if the opponent's momentum is terrifying? Thunder fruit is not a decoration. He even has the confidence of being a god. I saw his arm slowly raised, swirling with powerful thunder and lightning, pointing directly at Luo En. Destructive fluctuations of thunder and lightning are gathering crazily. F***ku. Luo En swore harshly, then jumped out like a beast, his ferocious aura suddenly erupted, rushing around. The left hand is entangled with dark gold and swallows the sand, swallowing the sky and the earth. The right hand circled and exploded with red flames, burning everything. That figure is like a god descending to earth at this moment, with two devil fruit abilities combined into one. The violent display of momentum even shocked Ace, Luffy and others. They all stared at the figure rising into the sky with their eyes wide open, and they all had one thought in their minds: is this still Luo En? Luo En is always smiling, even if he is serious, he has never been like this. The fierce killing intent is bone-piercing. Extremely terrifying. At this moment, everyone had a thought in their minds: never be enemies with Luo En. Enel's face was as gloomy as water, feeling extremely threatened. The thunder and lightning took shape, and a ferocious and roaring thunder dragon emerged. It opened its huge mouth of thunder fangs and crashed into Luo En with an overwhelming roar. The murderous aura in Luo En's eyes almost overflowed, and the golden flames were reflected in his eyes. As he waved his right hand, the golden bursting red flames were completely released, like a bright sun slowly rising in the direction of Sky Island. At this moment, the temperature in the entire ruins became blazing and scorching, as if being trapped in a volcano, the heat was overwhelming. The evolved power of Mera fruit is truly demonstrated for the first time. The thunder dragon collided with the flames, and the infinite impact exploded in the air. Wind and waves swept across, causing a ferocious tremor throughout the ruins. However, what came next was a scene that shocked everyone even more. The flames rushed past, and the terrifying destructive power directly tore the thunder dragon apart. Countless lightning bolts fled in all directions, as if they had seen a scourge. Anyone caught in the flames would be directly eliminated. Exploding red flames. The reason why it is called exploding red flame is because the flame is integrated into the power of the dragon talisman. The power of explosion crushes thunder and lightning. The flames roared past in an instant, causing Enel's expression to change dramatically and his painting style to collapse. But Enel still reacted urgently, hitting the Magatama drum continuously with the golden stick in his hand, and thunder and lightning surged around him, like a rolling wave, overwhelming the sky. Luo En's figure was behind the flames, and the dark gold sand devouring blade on his left hand flashed for a moment. Activate silently. Along with the dark gold sofa devourer, there is also the ability of flower fruit. Enel looked at the arm that had grown out of his arm. There was a layer of dark golden gravel wrapped around the arm, flowing around his arm. Enel's brain is directly short-circuited. He only realized now that Luo En seems to have displayed two abilities. So, what's going on with his arm now? Isn't this the ability of that woman just now? How did he perform it? How to fight this? People are immediately numb. However, something happened that frightened him even more. The arm suddenly grew out of his arm, releasing flowing gravel and wrapping it around his arm. A powerful feeling of dehydration filled his brain. The entire arm shriveled up in the blink of an eye, like a mummy. By coincidence, this arm was exactly the one he used to wield the golden stick. The sudden shriveling made him unable to react in time, not to mention the shock in his heart that made him confused for a while, and the golden stick fell from his feet. Enel was so confused that he couldn't find the source at all. Is it a devil fruit ability? Or is it the effect of pervert's ability? Just now, the thunder dragon was shattered by a violent touch. Was the other party really a flame? My brain is blank, my arms are useless. Enel's confidence was crushed to pieces. Nothing but confusion is confusion. Boom. Exploding red flames exploded, and the terrifying high temperature hit his face. Enel raised his head in shock, and the golden light and shadow quickly magnified in his eyes. The thunder and lightning he released just now were once again washed away, and faced with the exploding red flames, he was crushed again. The frightened Enel forced himself to calm down and prepared to elementalize to avoid the attack. However, at some point, two arms appeared on his ankles, shining with a layer of deep lustrous material, armament hockey. When the painting style on Enel's face completely collapsed, as if he had seen a devil, full of fear and horror, and he shouted in shock, "What the hell is going on?" Enel directly broke the defense. Chapter 49 Killing Enel, please give me flowers and votes. Enel was stunned and was directly hit to break his defense. Ace's eyes widened and he stared at the erupting Luo En in disbelief, muttering to himself, what a terrifying strength. This is Luo En in full form. His copying ability is too terrifying. The copying ability he originally thought was just like that. However, Luo En used three devil fruit abilities at the same time. The explosion of fruit power, the cooperation between the fruits, and the devastating combat power made Ace deeply reflect. Is it really that easy to copy the fruit? If Luo En were allowed to copy a few more devil fruit abilities, wouldn't he be more pervert? Luffy stared blankly at the golden red flames crushing thunder and lightning in the sky. His little face became tangled. Luo En is so strong, when can I surpass him? Even Luffy's optimistic attitude felt great pressure. How could there be no pressure when there are such perverts around? The captain is stronger again. The cooperation between devil fruit greatly enhances the power of the fruit. Zoro tightened his grip on the handle of the knife and looked solemnly. Mera fruit and sand fruit are Logia's abilities, flower fruit is Paramesha. Luo En directly uses flower fruit's ability to summon arms on Enel. If it's just flower fruit, then it can only be a direct attack. However, Luo En also possesses two other Logia abilities. The arms generated by the flower fruit release other devil fruit abilities. This kind of attack method is almost impossible to guard against. Zoro was also shocked by this fighting style. Sanji frowned, his eyes full of confusion. Copy fruit, copy fruit. There is no record of this kind of fruit in the Devil Fruit illustrated book. He roared like a groundhog in his heart, completely unable to understand Luo En's weird and powerful abilities. It's so terrifying. I have never seen such a terrifying Luo En before. He really wants to kill someone. Usopp murmured in shock, his mind shocked. Chopper's movements of bandaging Robin stopped involuntarily because of this shocking scene, and his eyes stared straight at the violent figure in the sky. Luo En. The tears in Robin's eyes couldn't stop falling. She deeply felt Luo En's emotional changes. When Luo En first arrived, he came with anger. After defeating the Thunderbird, he looked at Robin. Robin saw from Luo En's eyes, the anger and worry in Luo En's eyes the moment he saw her. Instantly transformed into substantial murderous intent towards Enel. So, Robin deeply felt that Luo En cared about him. In the past few days on board the ship, Luo En has always been smiling. Even when he defeated Crocodile, he maintained that carefree image. Today's violent side was completely released for Robin and Nami. Will there be someone to protect me? The sense of belonging that had disappeared since childhood reappeared in Robin's heart at this moment, and she once again found a feeling of home. She recognized everyone and recognized these partners. Son of the devil, if it were for you, I would become a real devil. Nami wiped the tears on her face and stabilized her mood. However, the shock in her beautiful eyes could no longer be eliminated. She bit her red lips and murmured, Luo En. From the moment I met Luo En, I always felt that he was somewhat unreliable, doing things without any rules and seemed very arbitrary. But now, Luo En's image has been completely overturned in Nami's heart. Luo En is an absolutely reliable guy, and his reliability is extremely reassuring. Everyone is a monster. Chopper stared blankly at Luo En's figure, not knowing what he was thinking. Boss Luo En, wait for us, ah. Mr. 3 rushed out of the woods panting, swallowing the words that came to his lips. All three of them noticed this unusual scene and felt a different atmosphere. Boss Luo En seems to be killing people. The armed arms tightly clamped Enel's legs, making him unable to move at all. In front of him was Luo En's extremely fierce attack. He was completely panicked. The one arm that could still move crazily gathered the surrounding thunder and lightning around him to protect himself. However, everything is in vain. Luo En swings his fist, causing the golden bursting red flames to swirl. However, the fist under the flame has quietly been wrapped with a layer of Conqueror's Haki. The tyranny is on. Countless small dark red phones appeared silently, outmatched by the blue thunder summoned by Enel. A powerful and destructive punch was aimed at Enel. The lightning that blocked him was dispelled by the unstoppable impact before it even touched the fist. No, don't kill me. I'm God. I can give you everything you want. Don't kill me. Enel raised his head and met Luo En's indifferent eyes, seeing the strong killing intent and firm determination contained in them. Does he really want to kill me? Enel had no other thoughts in his mind and began to beg for mercy regardless of the image, wishing he could kneel down and beg for a chance to live. However, Luo En no longer gave Enel time to react. His fist penetrated the lightning and fell suddenly. Boom. As Ba Wan's punch fell, the endless exploding red flames also found their target, rolling back like a flood that broke a bank, mercilessly devouring the body and erupting with a strong roar. Chapter 50 solved. Reward. Ba Tang's attack shattered half of Enel's body. Flesh, and bones shattered into countless fragments in an instant. Enel's horrified eyes were also fixed at this moment. A self-proclaimed god, Enel possesses the strongest Logia devil fruit. Die. The bursting red flames exploded, completely destroying the body. In the roar of the explosion, the body directly turned into ashes and quietly dissipated into the world. Enel is dead. The most powerful devil fruit was reborn on the sea, but, strangely, he was reborn on the sea, not on Sky Island. He couldn't take more than 2 moves before he was killed by Luo En. He hasn't even used his Thunder God form yet, and he hasn't even had the chance to use his strongest move, Lei Ying. Failure can be described as extremely frustrating. But this is also the strength gap between him and Luo En. Enel has a tight grasp of observation Haki. It's just that the physical skills are completely rubbish, not to mention that Luo En not only uses 3 Devil Fruit abilities, but the Devil Fruit ability in particular has evolved and become more powerful. Even activate the domination in the last hit. All I can say is that Enel's death was not unjust. Originally, Luo En planned to recruit Enel on board, seek to combine his strength, and gain the power of Thunder Fruit. But when he saw Robin and Nami's appearance, he couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. He struck out in rage and killed with force. As for Thunder Fruit, is it more important than Robin and Nami? After dealing with Enel, the murderous intent in Luo En's eyes slowly dissipated, the terrifying aura on his body receded, and the dark gold sand eating and exploding red flames subsided. The figure returned to normal and fell on the ground. Luo En breathed a long sigh of relief and regained his calm mood. When he looked at everyone, he found that everyone was staring at him like a monster. Pa. Luo En clapped his hands and joked. I know I'm handsome, but you won't look at me like that. In fact, handsome guys can be shy. Ace. As soon as he opened his mouth to speak, the familiar Luo En was back. Zoro and Sanji patted their foreheads in unison. Sure enough, they have been handsome for a minute. But to be honest, they still prefer the smiling Luo En. Luo En was in that state just now, which made them all feel palpitated. Luo En's angry look is really terrible, Usopp said with emotion as he wiped the sweat from his forehead. Luo En's move subverted the image they knew in their minds. It's so powerful. The combined power of Devil Fruit is so terrifying. Especially when Flower Fruit's ability is paired with two kinds of Logia, there's no way to resist it. Ace said with lingering fear. His confidence in defeating Luo En and winning the captaincy suddenly plummeted. If the last time he competed with Luo En, he still saw the hope of hard work, but this time after seeing his full strength, he saw the huge gap. It turns out that Luo En is hiding his clumsiness all the time. But what Ace didn't know was that Luo En still didn't use all his strength, because he didn't use Luffy's Devil Fruit ability. At this moment, a huge sandstorm blew up in the forest, and then Crocodile appeared in front of everyone in a hurry. What happened here? Is everyone okay? Crocodile condensed his figure from the sandstorm, and the sandstorm slowly dissipated, and several figures fell out of it. It's nothing, why are you here? Luo En said with a smile. Crocodile pointed at the cigar. Do me a favor, Lousy was scared to death. I just felt your explosive breath and thought something happened. Lousy rushed over with all his strength and the cigar was extinguished. Luo En smiled and shook his head, then stretched out his finger to light Crocodile's cigar from a distance, and casually explained, just kill an enemy, don't make a fuss. Ace then came over and described Crocodile in detail. After hearing this, Crocodile's eyes widened and he said in surprise, the Esper who directly killed Thunder Fruit. That was the Devil Fruit who was considered the strongest Logia. God, it seems like he missed something important. If he had known about it, he would have rushed here with everyone. That guy's thunder is indeed very strong. Even ordinary armors may not be able to withstand the violent thunder and lightning. Moreover, I feel that Luo En's attack was too fierce, which caused the guy not to use all his power. Ace slightly he said thoughtfully, silently weighing the power of Thunder Fruit and Mera Fruit. The previous Mera Fruit would definitely be no match. But now the Mera Fruit has evolved into explosive red flame. With the terrifying high temperature and extremely strong explosive ability, the power is not weaker than the Thunder Fruit. It's really confusing. Even if the copying fruit can copy the power of others, how can Luo En use it so skillfully even if he has never practiced it before? Crocodile felt confused and asked suspiciously, is it possible that he takes advantage of us every day? Go to sleep and practice by yourself. Don't tell me, it's really possible. Ace nodded in panic. Damn, don't make random assumptions, am I the kind of sinister and insidious person? Luo En couldn't help but retort after hearing this, with a black line drawn from his forehead. Co-author, do you think your great captain is such a bitch? Speaking of which, it's a pity about this Devil Fruit. If we could snatch the Thunder Fruit and use it for the members of our pirate group, I believe that whoever takes it will be greatly improved in strength. Crocodile and even Thunder Fruit's name said regretfully. But it's just talk. After all, after the Devil Fruit is taken, there is no way to separate it from the user. Only after the person with the ability dies will the Devil Fruit be reborn in the sea. Hearing this, Ace instantly realized a problem. If this is true, the one who may have improved the most is Luo En. When the time comes, Luo En will be copied, and the three abilities of Logia Devil Fruit will be unprecedented and unprecedented. By the way, Luo En, didn't you copy his ability just now? Crocodile suddenly realized this problem. Luo En paused, waved his hands and explained, I was so impulsive just now that I forgot about it. There is no other way but to prevaricate randomly. After all, he is not a real copy. As long as the opponent does not join his pirate group, even if he eats the opponent, he will not be able to gain his abilities. That's such a pity. Crocodile shook his head and did not notice Luo En's unnaturalness. While talking, Sanji supported Nami, and everyone gathered at Robin's side. Robin, are you okay? Luo En asked with concern. Observation Haki explored her wounds. After nothing serious happened, he breathed a sigh of relief. It's okay, just take care of yourself and you'll be fine. I've experienced more serious injuries than this. Robin said calmly with a sparkle in his eyes that was not there before. But these light words revealed what he had experienced in the past. Luo En nodded, then looked at Chopper and praised. With the medical skills of our miracle Dr. Chopper, I believe there will be no scars, right? Miracle Dr. Chopper. Baga Yalu, even if you don't say so, I won't let Robin get scars. Chopper said fiercely. This look made everyone laugh. The solemn atmosphere was dispersed by the laughter and laughter. By the way, Lao Sha, what's going on with those people? When everyone was preparing to return, Luo En remembered that when Crocodile arrived just now, several people fell out of the sandstorm. Crocodile took a puff of his cigar, frowned and said, when I came here just now, a group of guys dressed as indigenous people rushed out. I was so anxious that I didn't pay attention to them. Luo En twitched his lips, this guy's behavior is really unreasonable. As expected, that group of people were soldiers from Shandia. They might have heard the noise and rushed over, but unexpectedly, they were taken along for a ride by Crocodile. Luo En asked Chopper to look at them and found that there was nothing serious. Crocodile was so anxious that he didn't even use his hands to kill them. Luo En was not a murderous and cruel person, so he let them go. As for Enel, it was because he had murderous intentions first and wanted to attack Robin and Nami. If Luo En was late, something would happen to Robin. Luo En couldn't restrain his anger and killed the other party. This is the golden land we are looking for. There is a big snake there. Luffy stretched out his hands and jumped to a high place to overlook the place. In the distance, the Lord of the Sky was trembling, burying his head in his body, thinking, can't see me, can't see me. Luo En's explosive momentum just now completely shocked it, causing the animal to have instinctive fear. Really? What a huge snake. Usopp looked surprised. Except for giants, this is the first time I have seen such a huge creature. Hehehehe, he's not much different from the king of the offshore. Luffy said with a smile, holding his straw hat. Ace glanced around and asked, Luo En, what should we do next? Look for gold, transport it to the ship and take it away. By the time we reach the capital of Seven Waters, we should be able to change to a better pirate ship. Luo En had already had a plan in mind. Gold, hurry. Nami's eyes glowed with green light, and the injuries just now seemed to be gone. Luo En felt helpless when he saw her money-loving look. Soon, Zoro discovered the giant ark's motto. Luo En, this is a golden ship. Everyone gathered around and marveled at the luxury of this ship. Only Luo En checked it and said disappointedly, forget it, take away all the gold that can be taken away. We can't use this ship. If there is lightning as a power source, this ship can fly, but it is not suitable for sailing on the sea. After hearing this explanation, everyone was inevitably a little disappointed. It was such a pity that such a huge golden ship could not sail away. After that, everyone plundered a lot of gold, filling a huge wave of wealth. The weight of the pirate ship doubled, and the warehouse was filled with shining gold. Then Luo En led everyone to search for it, but did not find thunder fruit, and had no choice but to leave. The way to leave was brutal. They captured a giant octopus, used it as a parachute, and landed directly into the death stream.